This is another Midnight Hour podcast. What a great song from Christian Guber. That's Sweet Mary Line, 1979. Bit of lovely disco brought to you by the wonderful Tommy Ettling. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hello, Mel. Good to see you.
Yes, welcome. Episode 64 underway. Guys, we've got so many places to visit, so me and Tommy are just going to jump straight in with Batman because this is the truth. We're huge Batman fans, aren't we?
Yeah, huge Batman fan.
It's got nothing to do with the fact that we were born in the same year, 1984.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I brought up because you're dressed as Batman right now, which I find quite distressing. But no.
I think they've seen it. Actually,
just from the waist down, by the way, which is why it's not on the
utility belt.
Well, tights. I mean, I was a bit concerned, but that's apparently.
I move around so nimble, though. Now you know why. There's method to my madness. Were you a fan of the animated series in the 90s?
Yes, I was. But
Yes.
I was originally a fan of the Adam West, the 1960s.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Pow, Kazam.
Yeah. I just thought and I still think it's one of the greatest TV shows ever made. I just think it's fantastic.
Yes and no. It was a bit too camp. Like the bat dance. You've just kicked the Joker's ass and now you're all friends.
If you are going to use the phrase too camp, I can see that we're not going to get along at all because there's nothing too camp for me. Did you hear the intro song that I just picked?
Yeah, well, that was actually some nice disco though. But yeah, no, what I meant by too camp is that, you know, like how TV shows within a half an hour or an hour resolve the issue and everything's all hunky-dory.
Yeah, you're describing everything I love in a TV show.
Yeah, well, why is it that Batman, who's a badass, got the best gadgets in the world, he's there to fight crime, would kick the ass of a villain, and then out of nowhere, the only thing I suppose I liked out of the Bat dance was when he would dance with the villain's henchwomen.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. But the villain would join in, so it would be like...
But this is the 60s, and it knew how camp it was, and it knew how silly it was, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
And I think we're moving on to the fact that... I'm going to throw daylight on magic here and tell you how these shows work. We were having a little preamble before the show, and Mel has got a poster of The Dark Knight, which of all of the Batman canon is my least favourite of the Batman movies.
I don't know why it is, but we're going to find out.
Well, you're going to find out.
Why don't you like it? I mean, what is it? Is it? You said it's got nothing to do with Heath Ledger.
No.
You like Batman too much. You feel like this was a Batman just told.
It's a Batman betrayal, is what I feel it is.
And whose fault is that, though? Is you saying it's Nolan's? Is it Christian Bale's interpretation of Batman? What is it?
It's the entire film is a betrayal of what Batman is, and what Batman is a character for children and adolescents, which is a wonderful thing. And if you people will argue the toss about that, they'll say it's Batman's not. It can be for adults. It can deal with grown up themes. You read the Frank Miller comics and yada yada yada. But essentially, when did you read the Frank Miller graphic novels? When you're a teenager, when you're a teenage boy, that's who it's for. Now, I love Batman Begins because it just straddled that line of being something you could watch as a 10, 12, 13-year-old boy, get and love, and be like, Batman is the man. This one just went too far in the other direction to the point where they're having a boardroom meeting with shareholders talking about the stock value.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. You know what?
Batman.
You know. I
That's
can't.
what Batman's all about.
That's a great point. I can't fault you with the whole too much in Bruce Wayne's life.
Too serious. You got
much. Yeah, layers.
A Joker who doesn't tell any jokes. Who's not funny.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. There's something funny about a person who embraces crazy, and nobody done it better than Heath Ledger's Joker. He done it to the point where if he would tell a joke, it would be funny to him and only him, which would make you know like there's something wrong with this guy because he seems to find this funny. The true Joker, remember, failed. He bombed as a comedian. He died on his ass, and that's what got him into the Red Hood in the first place. So
I appreciate that, but there's no way you're going to stand here, look me in the eye, and say, in terms of cinema, that Joker is better than Jack Nicholson. It cannot be. It cannot be.
It's because
where he gets the plastic surgery, looks at himself in the mirror, and laughs so hard he smashes. Oh, come on, man! That's one of the great scenes in cinema.
Nicholson is amazing. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. And
you wouldn't punch a man with glasses
you
on.
Punch a guy with glasses on. Would you dance with the devil in a pale moonlight? But
I'm
this
here giving away free money. Where's the Batman? He's at home washing his tights. That is, my friend, the Joker. That's the Joker.
Okay, you're making some great points here, but here's the thing. So would you go as far to say that Keaton is the best Batman?
I don't think that matters. I think it's completely interchangeable. And I think that you can take that character and do different things with it and it work anyway.
Yeah.
Really it can. I haven't actually seen the Ben Affleck one. I'm going to hold my hands up that
Okay.
because I know I don't like Zack Snyder films, so I knew I was
Zack
not.
Snyder
Yeah, I knew I was not going to
he
get on
makes
with that.
terrible movies. I'm
He
not going to
makes
lie,
really bad movies.
horrendous movies, and
Apart
they
from
keep giving.
300, which is hilarious from start to finish.
Yeah, that was the only one, but then he undone all of his good work with 300 too.
I mean, why would you watch that? There's only so many hours in the day.
I know guys who
I
pay
haven't
pied
seen The
money in the
Third
cinema.
Man yet.
We've got a lot of ground.
I'm going to watch 302,
No,
301.
No, I've still got to apparently watch Mulan and Pocahontas or something. Mulan 2. I've apparently got to watch Disney. Somebody's told me.
Yeah, you got to watch. You not seen Mulan?
No, I've not seen Mulan.
The original Mulan with Eddie Murphy as the dragon?
No, I
gotta
haven't seen
check it
none of
out,
it, man.
man. You
I
gotta
know.
check it out. It's tremendous.
I know. Everyone's
Now
told me I should watch
Disney is a genius.
it. Because what they managed to buy Star Wars and Star Trek and
No, Disney, the
bought
man
everything.
Disney, Walt Disney.
Oh,
Walt
okay.
Disney.
Yeah, anti-Semite though. He's got some.
He's not an
Like Mel
anti-Semite.
Gibson, I think he's an amazing storyteller. He does great product in terms of like entertainment and media, but there is a shady past.
I don't think he's a real anti-Semite. I think he was made a very racist movie against African American people,
Mm-hmm.
which not many people talk about, and that was a real misstep. But all the guys who wrote all the songs in his best movies were two Jewish brothers.
Ah, yes. That's my other point now. I mean, with this whole Walt Disney thing, I heard about this anti-Semitism thing from the internet, so I took it with a pinch of salt. But by throwing it at you, I just needed to see if you'd heard the same news and backed me up and gone, yeah, man, I heard it as well. But the fact that you give me an opposing viewpoint, there's always an Associated Press which will give a different story than the the mainline one.
Okay, so why am I sat here, Mel? Because I'm a comedian, right?
Comedian. We got on very well.
We do.
We realised we've got so many things in common. And Tanglefoot
Especially
is...
after I've seen you wearing tights, I see we've got a lot in common.
Absolutely. Wait until we start going on patrol. For some reason, I just wanted to wrap up the Batman talk. I would say that my favourite version of Batman is still the animated series. It doesn't get any better than Kevin Conroy as far as I'm concerned and Mark Hamill as Batman and Joker respectively. To the point that I even love Tara Strong's rendition of Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was created in Batman the animated series in the 90s anyway, and now look at what's happened to her character.
Her own animal, getting her own movie, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her and Batman are going to have another, like a new animated movie. She features prominently in the new Injustice 2 game. Did you ever watch Injustice at all?
No.
Okay, so you haven't seen Batman versus Superman.
No.
So this is a kind of unique spoiler, but not really. Do you remember a storyline of when Superman goes evil?
Yes.
Okay, so that's also in is it Frank Miller's
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got the fight with Superman in the Batsuit, blah blah. They adapt that to the movie with Ben Affleck being the older version of Batman, more battle worn, and he has to obviously use his toys to take down Superman. The Kevin Conroy character has reprised his role in almost everything, and he's in Injustice. Injustice is basically a story of when Lex Luthor gives the Joker a nuclear bomb to blow up Metropolis. Now,
some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Absolutely, and who better to get rid of it than a person who will laugh? So basically what happens is, in one reality, the bomb goes off, Lois Lane dies, Superman goes crazy, kills the Joker, and after that becomes a complete and utter madman. And Batman leads the resistance to try and stop him. Now, in our reality, or the real reality, that bomb was about to go off, but Lex Luthor transdimensionally teleports Batman, or as many heroes as he can, over to his reality where Superman's kicking ass. So that's what makes the game good, because they take two sets of Batman and Superman characters in one planet. It's kind of like Crisis on Two Earths. But anyway, the game was a massive success to the point that they even used scenes of that in Batman versus Superman. And Injustice 2 is out, and what can I say? Batman is front and center, the baddest man on the planet. So yeah, props to Batman, Bruce Timm, and whoever else had a hand in making this son of a bitch.
I'm all about Batman, and I'm all about the whole Batman legacy. And I agree with you. I love that cartoon from the 90s. Again, straddle that line between dark but being accessible for children, which is what Batman should really be about.
Yeah.
You go down to Camden Market, and you see they sell these T-shirts where it's Bart Simpson sitting in front of a bunch of money smoking a spliff.
Yeah.
That's what that movie is to me. The second Nolan. It's just like, why have you taken this thing and turned it into something that it's not?
Yeah, you take a lovable icon.
Yeah, why have you done that? Why have you taken this away from the target audience and turned it into this grim,
Dark.
weird. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Completely pulled it back in the last one. Catwoman, I thought was great in the last one, and Bane, like how cartoon and pantomime and silly and camp, which is what Batman really is.
Yeah.
How camp was that last movie? Terrific.
Yeah. There still was a lot of seriousness though, the whole Talia al Ghul and
but you can. There's no reason why it can't be serious.
No, yeah.
But you can watch it and just go, man, this is stupid. And that's what Batman should be, because it really is about a grown man dressed as a bat.
Yeah, and allowing his sidekicks to go out in primary colours.
It's great.
Son of a bitch. You know what? Great points, but what can you say?
I understand I'm the only person who doesn't like this film in the world.
Well, no, I mean, I think you're definitely on your own there. And I tried my best to kind of see a sensibility, which there is one, but it's really tough because he acts his dick off.
I get it.
But you're right though. There's
acts his dick off.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like saying that. When an actor acts like Tom Cruise in every movie, he can't lose because he acts his dick off and he smiles.
They call
whilst
the bell
doing
at the end of the day and say, "Did anyone lose a dick? This must be Heath's.
This
Where's
must
he
be
gone?
Tom's dick."
We're gonna get this back to him.
Yeah, it's probably a dog with a pillow ready to catch it. Tom Cruise, Scientologist.
I'm sorry that my dog was gonna be here tonight. But
yeah, I know the maiden appearance of Coco Bongo.
Pongo Bongo.
Pongo Bongo.
Yeah.
Why do I say? Because the night where my friend bought her dog Coco.
Right.
Yes.
No, mine's Pongo Bongo.
Pongo Bongo.
We named him after my grandfather. It's very easy to remember. No, he's doing Mark Maron tonight, so unfortunately,
okay.
I know. It's tough, but
Do you get slightly resentful of the just the stratosphere that he's beginning to hit now? I mean, you both started out around the same time.
Well, it took Charlie Murphy a long time to catch up with Eddie.
It's true.
Towards the end he got there, so that's what I'm hoping for.
Yes, you're hoping for Charlie Murphy.
My shaggy dog story.
Excellent.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. The dog puns are in.
Speaking of which, from 1984, what is the thing you remember most, other than like the Batmans and stuff like that? What's the thing you remember most that you think you still have a fanboy-esque kind of, like you still think about now? Like if a movie came out, you'd be like, okay, I might just,
Fanboy, yes, I'm not sure, but there were a trio of programs that I loved from our era, right? Mm-hmm. One was Round the Twist, the first series.
Big man.
The second one was Erie, Indiana.
Oh my God!
And the third one was a show which not many people remember. It was called The Adventures of Pete and Pete. Now these three shows were the cornerstone.
I didn't get the last one. Let's say.
Hey, did you have cable growing up? Did you have Sky growing up?
No,
it was
I
on
didn't
Nickelodeon.
get it. I didn't get it till later. Yeah.
Pete and Pete was a crazy show. So when Nickelodeon first started in the early noughties, it wanted to be something very different from your bog standard kids TV. It wanted to be very different from what it is now.
Yeah.
So you've got shows like Ren and Stimpy, which I also think is one of the greatest TV shows ever made, right? Stimpy! Exactly. Rocko's Modern Life. And Pete and Pete was in this, and it was created by this team that used to make music videos for indie bands. And it was about two brothers who were both called Pete, and they lived in this imaginary town called Wellsville, and the little Pete, his best friend, was his own personal superhero called Artie, the strongest man in the world. And it was just weird and bizarre and all over the place. Everyone's in it. Allen Ginsberg was in the episode, Iggy Pop, Steve Buscemi, Michael Stipe. If you don't sleep on the Adventures of Pete and Pete, check it out. It is an amazing show, and but it's totally weird and off the wall and seriously really, really funny.
Wow.
Check it out.
Adventures of Pete and Pete. If I've got to throw three out there, Dragon Ball Z, still a big favourite of mine.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
To be perfectly honest, and this is a bit of a cheat, because I would say, do you remember when What A Cartoon first launched? So this was Toonami's attempt of launching the flagship show. So they'll show the pilot of Powerpuff Girls, the pilot of Courage the Cowardly Dog, the pilot of Cow and Chicken, the pilot of Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Cow and Chicken, what show that was.
Powerpuff Girls, what's his name, Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo. So those shows just like, I remember it was before they became real shows, and you'd watch whatever you watched on Cartoon Network, and then out of nowhere it'd be like what? Cartoon. Yeah, you can tell how many times I watched it. So after that, you'd have the episode, and I remember Courage the Cowardly Dog played for a whole week, and that cartoon scared the shit out of me, because it was the alien with the red eyes.
Yeah.
And the dog was trying to tell the grandma and the granddad. They didn't listen to him. They ended up cooking the eggs, and then they ended up having red eyes. So yeah, great little weird twisty cartoons, and that was my kind of foray into, like, Adult Swim and Archer and all kinds of animation.
I think a lot of stuff for our age, for our generation, was weird like that. It was kind of off the wall, and I think that's because you had this rapid expansion of all these different channels coming out, and they had to film, they had to get content.
Yeah.
And so you had people like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network where, well, just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Don't put any profanity in it. Don't put anything that's overtly offensive to anybody. But apart from that, just do whatever you want. And people did.
Yeah.
And the results were absolutely amazing. And you got these incredibly unique shows. And I think only now, with the expansion of the internet and YouTube in the last sort of 5-7 years, we're kind of getting that again, and we're kind of seeing these shows coming out now, and you're like Rick and Morty, regular show where you're going, where did this come from? This is wild. Do
you remember Trouble? Trouble was another cable show now where they took like, this wasn't just like they had Fresh Prince and Moesha and other shows, but they took real life shit, like a dating show that was different. Do you remember? Oh, what is it called? Date My Mate.
No, maybe.
Then Date My Mum. Date My Sister, Date My Dad. Yeah, all of it spawned from Date My Mate. There was also another one called...
You've just brought a memory back into my head that I haven't thought of since I was a small child. I remember Trouble TV a lot.
Yeah.
But
do you remember the great Bananarama song, Cruel Summer? Because they made a TV show called Cruel Summer.
I don't.
You don't remember Cruel Summer?
Was it what's the New Zealand or Australian...
Shipwrecked?
Yeah,
that was Channel 4.
No. It was like a... It was a Grange Hill, but for Antipodeans.
Oh, The Tribe on Channel 5.
Something like that.
Jesus Christ. That I missed all of that. I mean, I think I was unfortunate not to have any friends that Sunday, and I watched the Omnibus, and I was done. I was like, I can't watch this. This is weird. But The Tribe, I think you're talking about on Channel 5. That was... the thing is, like, Round the Twist was Aussie. We had Home and Away and Neighbours, obviously, coming home from school. Prisoner Cell Blockade, if you stayed up late enough.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Aussie influence, but then, like you said, it was a lot of American TV shows. I remember on Saturday morning, Channel 4 would just have me stuck because after Sharky and George, I would be watching...
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper. What's it called? Oh, God. Surf Dudes with Attitude. Kind of groovy.
California Dreams.
There you go. California Dreams, man. That was one of my fucking shows, man.
California Dreams. I always wanted to... Who was the guy? One of the guys played a manager. And I was like...
Sly.
This is wild. But the teenage show about being in a band was Pugwall, man.
Pugwall, yes. Pugwall.
Pugwall was everything. And his
you
little
pull that
sisters,
one out.
His little sister's rival band...
and
the
her song.
Marmaloids.
The Marmaloids, that's it. And
yeah, man. I mean... We lived and breathed those shows.
Didn't they sing that one song throughout the entire show and every time they went to the surf club?
Lloyd, don't call me that.
Well, no, I meant Pugwall.
Nobody tells me what to do. No, not me.
There's no reason why you keep hurting me.
I don't know. I mean, it's a long time ago, Mel.
It's so long. It's
a long time ago.
There was another Aussie show, kind of like Pugwall, but not really, where the kids ended up getting powers. One kid had a pair of slippers and it made him go super fast. The girl had a T-shirt that made her go invisible. And I think they had this like little furry alien or something like that. I can't remember for the life of me. Write below in the comments, please. But I remember it was an Aussie show and all these kids, like, they found all these powers. Slippers made them go fast. That's all I can remember. I'm having all of these like small memories resurface from TV shows back in the day, and I just can't remember the names of them for the life of me. But yeah, it was the shit. But my point was Trouble and like YouTubers.
Yeah.
People are taking it into their own hands now. They'd be like, well, that series has been 10 years done. I'm going to start my own version of that. And they get followers because other people will be like sad that a show ended after its first season, like Firefly.
Well, that's what Netflix is, when they were first starting to hit big, that's what they were doing. They were sweeping up old shows like Arrested Development being the most famous example of it, and putting them out there, and good for them.
Could you believe that Blockbuster turned that shit down? Netflix was going to say, come Blockbuster, why don't you buy us? We've got a complete like internet. Fuck off, mate. Everyone loves the VHS, and when we go DVD, you guys are going to be calling for us. And then Netflix was like, all right then.
You couldn't have imagined it, though. The guys running Blockbuster at that time were probably in their 50s, and they were trying to watch little things on the internet and going, well, this is never going to work. It's not going to happen. It just won't work.
YouTube didn't have the resolution, so they thought, who's going to really want to sit in front of their
TV? And in the early
TV?
days of YouTube, you could only upload like less than 10 minutes. Yeah. That was all you could do.
10 minutes maximum, unless you had like some serious, I don't know, pull, and then it'd allow you to do like a 12-minute video. And people did like movies in parts.
Well, they should have seen the writing on the wall.
Definitely. Speaking of which, now, other than movies, YouTube has managed to become almost like a secondary home for people. Like, they don't even go on TV or anything. And me personally, I go to YouTube for my music. I mean, a lot of music. I mean, most of the shit that I've discovered from yesteryear that I've only getting into my ears now, I found that from yeah, like my friend plays something on YouTube, and then you go back in your history, and before you know it, YouTube says recommended for you, and you're like, okay. Some of them are shit, some of them are good, and then you add them to a playlist, and before you know it, based on your playlist, the next time you log on YouTube, it's just snitched on you. Be like, hey, listen, we can tell you like this kind of music. Why don't you just listen to this mix? And you be like, not bad, YouTube. Keep. Throw away.
I'm a vinyl nut.
You got more vinyl than the shit on my walls.
That is very true.
Yeah. And now you've seen it, it makes sense.
Yeah, I have walls and walls and walls and walls of records, and so I don't have a Spotify account. I don't listen to music on YouTube because of exactly what you're saying. I want to find music by going through the crates, by looking at, this musician playing that. It's exactly the same. It's an algorithm that YouTube is designed to and Spotify is designed to know, okay, well, you'll like this. And it's exactly the same thing that people have been doing to discover music for decades, which is, oh, well, that guitarist was featured on this record, and now I see his name on this record in the same section in the record store. It's the same algorithm.
Or just like Blockbuster, you pick up the cover and go, that looks awesome.
Who directed this? I love this actor. And it's exactly the same thing in music. But yeah, no, I don't have I don't have a real love for music online. I'm a vinyl nut. It's not to say it's so much easier.
Can you hear the difference though? Can you actually, like, when you play one of your, what is it, 7-inch?
Yeah, 7 inches or 12 inches. I mean, I collect everything, but mostly jazz LPs and disco 12 inches.
Jazz LPs.
Yeah, and extended.
I'm a huge Herbie Hancock fan.
There you go, good man. Which is your favourite?
Oh, do you know, I pull it down to 3. In this order as well: Headhunters, Manchild, and Frost.
Get on Mr. Hands. That's a great.
Mr. Hands is a good one. Cantaloupe Island is a good one. Flood's not bad. Sextant is weird. I've done many of these with like human beings. Most of the time fucked up, and we end up going on adventures with it. But no, it's one of those, like, for me, Headhunters. That's an album I can keep listening to. I won't even take a break because it's a masterpiece of music.
And Frank Zappa, if you get
Zappa.
If you get into Zappa,
yeah,
you know the list of musicians that are on those albums, and they spread and they go. They're like spores from a fungus, and the whole thing just continues to spread. And I love that. Music is my life.
It is probably the food of life, really, because it's like a law. Like, you don't have to explain it to someone who's got another language. The moment you start playing music, they hear it, you hear it, and it resonates. It's a
totally natural thing. Every animal, plant, the moon sings. The moon lets out a vibration that has a tone that we must be able to hear on some level. So music is way deeper than, you know, fall to the floor disco like I like. It's something that connects and I'm not a spiritual guy or anything like that, but it's vibrations. It's sound vibrations, and the entire universe is all about sound vibrations. The entire universe. You're
almost sounding like you said. You're not religious.
No.
Neither would I say that. But you're spiritual scientist. Would that make sense?
No, I'm just a science.
Just
guy.
A science guy.
Just
so you don't even believe in a spirit, like a soul or anything like that.
No, but I am obsessed with ghosts and ghost stories.
Okay. All right. I don't know if you want to hear this, but let's go. Right. Let's see if this is real. So I'm working inside a hospital. It's one of the old listed building hospitals in London. And doing a night shift on one of these wings. And the nurses tell me, don't go inside that room. It just so happens to be haunted. And I'm like, why would you say that? And it's the only room in the hospital that accidentally was labelled number 13. Because in most hotels or buildings,
absolutely,
number 13 is omitted because it's an unlucky number. Why is it unlucky? You got to go all the way back into the history of the Bavarian Templars and all that kind of shit, okay? So for some reason, there was a 13 and there was no patient in this room, and a bunch of night shifts so happened to be where some members of staff take breaks, okay? But none of the members of staff would take this completely made bed, closed ensuite toilet. Like, they wouldn't take this room. I was like, why is no one going in that room? It's completely empty. There's no, you're not getting any patients in tonight, so one of the staff members could bunk in there for their break. They could have a bit of kip. No, don't go in there. Don't even talk about the room. Don't even look at the room. So I'm like, okay, the fuck they talking about? Okay, they're scared. So I don't sleep on my night shifts because I wake up and I'm a zombie. But what I do was on my break, I would just listen to my headphones and I'd walk around, all right? I saw the room door was open, and I thought, I'm just going to go walk in there for a second and like take off the headphones and see if there is any kind of eeriness, do I feel a chill or anything like that, because they've all said there's a ghost in there. And they're Filipino Catholic, they might just be leaving that shit superstitiously. I kid you not. It was warm everywhere else. The moment I walked inside the room, it was fucking freezing. And I mean, like, visibly I could feel like the hairs on my forearms and the back of my neck going up. So I'm like, well, let me look if there's a window with aircon's on. And I'm looking now around the room properly. The thermostat is on like 25, 26. That was supposed to be warm. There's no window open. And I look at the bed, and the bed looks like something or someone was on it, because, you know, when you make a bed, it looks completely straight, but this one looks like there's a bit of a dent in there. So as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh, you know what? I've seen all I need to see. I don't need to be in this room any longer. I tried to put the headphones on, and tell me how, when I got one ear like this, I feel something touch me in the ear. I fucking run out of there, mate. I ran out of there like a man bitch, and I didn't see anything. I just felt real cold, and the feeling of a wet willy about to happen from Solomon Grundy, who knows, but I was out of there. So yeah,
that is wild.
Science. Well, how do we explain that? An ectoplasmic wet willy? What is that?
I got 2 of these, right?
Okay.
I can give you one from my mum or the one that I experienced.
Well, considering you put in a nursing home, let's hear the one from your mum first.
Okay, so I mean, this is a true story, and it's completely insane. Right?
Podcasts love these things.
All right. So, my mum, she got a Ouija board.
Oh shit!
Now, Ouija boards, you have to understand, at this period, we're talking about the late 60s. Ouija boards are owned by Waddingtons. It's a ball game. It's a registered trademark. That's absolutely true.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They own it. Ouija boards were just a bit of fun, because it's the collective psychology, and so
how do you spell it?
OUI. It'll figure it out. No, with no W in the front. Sorry, Mel is typing. Is typing. Yeah, there you go. Ouija board. Waddington's Ouija board. So it's a registered trademark. So it's just a bit of fun that you're supposed to do. You ask us some questions.
Oh my God, Jekyll and Hyde, Waddington, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, so because it was a bit of fun, and the game works on this idea of collective psychology. So you're in a room, you're around with all your friends, and you're doing it. Is Sandra gonna go out with Tim? YES? Oh, amazing! And it was never anything spooky about it. The reason that we think Ouija boards are spooky is because of the movie The Exorcist, or the book before then.
Yeah.
That's the first time it was spirits communicating. So it's not a spooky supernatural thing, the Ouija board. It's a game in psychology.
Why is it that you got the alphabet? I mean, if people just type in Ouija or Waddington's Ouija board.
I know.
You got the goodbye at the bottom. Why is that? Is it just like after you finally use these words, you can kiss your ass goodbye because saying it's taking its own?
Why would you use a Ouija board to talk to your grandfather? If you think old people's stories are long and boring when they're alive, imagine going through them one letter at a time. Jeez. Anyway, so my mum has got this Ouija board, and she's playing with it on her own. Oh no, she's playing with it with some friends. Anyway, they're just playing with it, and that, you know, it's doing the normal stuff. Is Tina gonna marry Keith? Oh, yeah, what's that? But it kept doing what they couldn't explain, was it kept going down to the numbers, and it kept doing this 7916, 7916, 7916, and they couldn't work this out. This is in my mum's house growing up. But anyway, they all had a laugh, and I say there's nothing spooky about Ouija boards at this time. It was just something you did. It was a board game that you bought, as we're looking at on the computer now. But my mum couldn't get this number out of her mind. Why this 7916? What the hell's going on with this? So she went up to her mother, my grandmother, and said, what's 7916? And my grandmother's face apparently went white as a sheet. And she said, well, that was your uncle's squadron number. Now, my uncle, my great uncle, my mother's uncle, died on the last day of the Second World War. He was a navigator for the Air Force, and peace had been declared. Like we'd had victory. And he was flying home, and so the captain of his aircraft said, "Okay, well, you want to be a captain, you can pilot us in." But unfortunately, the message didn't get down to some of the artillery gunners down in Europe, and they shot and they hit the plane. It wasn't a bad hit, but because they had an inexperienced pilot piloting the plane, which was my great uncle, they crashed, and the whole squadron died on the last day of the war, and his squadron number was 7916, and this was just keep coming through. There's no photograph of him up in the house. My mum swears she'd never seen it on a lapel, never even really heard the story before. She knew she had an uncle that died in the war, but never So that's one, and
Fucking hell.
it's a weird one. And again, like your story, I can't explain it.
But it made it to this podcast.
It made it to this podcast. And the other one, my spooky story is, I find very difficult. And again, I don't believe in any of this stuff, but this did happen to me. I've been quite ill. Now I work in leather, right? So not
You work in leather.
I
Like
work
get
in
in the
leather.
cow and start punching.
It's an odd choice of outfit for a milkman, I understand, but you've got to make your own entertainment. No. So I work in leather. It's an old family business. I'm the fourth generation in this business, but we're old leather tanners from Bermondsey.
Okay.
So I still work in the family business out in Essex, which is halfway between my house and my parents' house. But obviously I got into work one day and I just felt really ill, as you do. I was just, sick, and I turned around at my dad and I said, "You've got to drive me. You've got to get me home."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, you don't want to, I can't take you back to your house. You have to come back to ours." And I said, "Okay." I went back there and I was 3 days laid up with a fever and everything in my mum's house. Now my mum was looking after me as mums do. 2 days later, I was fit enough. I went back to work, did half a day's work, got in my car, went home. I went to bed. By this time, I'm actually feeling all right. I'm not feeling too bad. I fall asleep and I'm having a dream. I'm having a dream that I'm sick at home in my parents' house and my mum is coming to look after me. And I'm lying there and I'm having this dream and I'm woken up by someone kicking the side of the bed and going, "Oi!" Like this. I know, but that's what it was. And so I woke up, and because I was so immersed in this dream, when I saw this woman leaning over the top of me, I went, "Oh, it's just my mum." And then I remembered, no, I'm at my house. I'm not at my mum's house. And then I remembered, oh wait, Anne-Marie, my fiancée, whatever, it was away at work. And so I focused my eyes, and there's this woman who I'd never met before leaning over me, wearing a bonnet. And I screamed, and I mean, Mel, I screamed, bloody murder, blue murder, and then she was gone. And that was it. Now, it's probably sleep paralysis, it's probably this, that, and the other, but I cannot explain. I've never experienced anything like that before, so it's very weird. And I told it to Anne-Marie, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, there's a ghost in the house, yeah." And she used to hear her dresser, when I first moved in, the dresser in the bedroom would rattle. And we went away once. We let some people house sit, and when they house sit, 2 pictures fell off the wall. It's like pictures you got here. They just fell off the wall. So I don't believe in any of this stuff, but that did happen. I have no reason to believe why that I would experience anything like that. Very, very bizarre. But I love stuff like that. I'm a nutter for it. I read the 14 times. I absolutely love it. I don't have any belief in it. But there must be a psychological reason why we believe in all this kind of stuff and why these things happen to us.
And why the Ghostbusters was another great cartoon that we watched back in the day.
I lived and breathed Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and the movies were great. The first series, though, featured a monkey, a gorilla, like Donkey Kong.
There's a great story about... it's not a great story, but it's an interesting story.
Yes.
So when they first did the Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters cartoon after the success of the movie, they asked Bill Murray to be the voice of Dr. Venkman, and he turned it down. So they went to the guy who did the voice of Garfield in the Garfield cartoon, and then who ended up playing Garfield in the movie some years later, Bill Murray. So it all went full circle.
They had a very, very similar voice. I don't know if the voice actor, made a decision, I'm going to do Bill Murray when I do my voice, or if it was just natural.
The early Garfield cartoons were late 70s.
Were they?
Yeah.
I remember the Friends Are There.
Yeah.
Garfield and Friends.
Because they wanted to do the original Peanuts shorts, those short animations that come out in I think they were the late 60s. And so they tried to do the same thing with Garfield, had the same sort of jazz soundtrack, same interesting...
Oh, yeah. A lot of jazz back in the day.
Yeah.
Especially espionage. Some espionage films. Have you heard of Janko Nilovic?
No.
Holy Jesus, wait till you hear this son of a bitch. I think he's from Montenegro. And he's like a weird jazz guy. But you can imagine as many like espionage, kind of like Man from U.N.C.L.E., all that kind of era, where they use like 2 colors in the intro. It seems like he's right up their alley. And yeah, I'm gonna play you a song after the show, obviously, because if I play more than 24 seconds of anything, I get banned in Germany and other countries.
Oh, I see. It's one of those.
Yeah. How many countries are there in the world? Because I once got banned in 192 countries for playing a song for about 40 seconds.
Oh, well done, Mel. I have a similar
So I'm guessing it's
experience,
about
but I'm not going to
202.
say what it was that I did on the internet that got me banned.
Oh, really? That's fun. I like those stories we say after the show.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to music for a second.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Other than us being fans of music and like having a prolific, you got a godlike collection. I'm saying if it's all vinyl and disco and it fills these walls.
And jazz and rock and everything else. I mean, I'll collect everything. But those are 2 things I specialise in. Yeah.
I'll put a caveat for a second. I'll ask you about rap in a second. Let's put a pin in that. But I want to talk about the fact that whilst looking for headshots for your lovely mug on the cover art of this episode, I discovered that you quite like myself. Well, mine's an acoustic, but you play guitar.
I play bass.
You play the bass.
Yeah.
You have, but you, as bad people were saying, he's been playing the bass. You've been playing the bass for how many years now?
Since I picked it up when I was 13.
13.
Yeah.
God damn. Wow.
And it's not very hip.
What, the bass?
No. The reason why I play bass is not very hip now.
Ah.
But you have to understand, in the early to mid noughties, Jamiroquai were the coolest band on earth.
Props for that, bro.
And the bass player was a guy called Stuart Zender. And I just saw, and I remember listening to those records and saying, what instrument is making that noise? And my dad being like, that's a bass. I was like, get me one of those, and I'm going to learn to play that. And so, yeah, but that was why.
With a broken voice at the year 9, was it year 9? No, year 7. Year 7 talent show in my high school, I decided to sing Virtual Insanity.
Nice.
And dance while singing. Now, this is a kid whose voice was literally changing every moment. This is a kid who didn't master cardio. I wasn't at Jackson, so what am I doing dancing while singing? Let's just say there were moments where it sounded horrendous, but I did get props for actually doing it in the first place.
Did you hit those falsettos that he does?
I tried. Well, in fact, that's the thing. I was trying to reach back into my soul for the falsetto that I had most of my youth. I was in the choir as well in the Church of England, Anglican, whatever you call it, church. Priest wearing bare pimp gums and you walking in some BHS. But it's I started singing from a very young age, and then obviously I was losing my head voice falsetto, and I was going into this Homer Simpson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, drunken whatever voice. It was weird. Yeah. Tom Waits, maybe. Yeah, it was horrible. But that was fun for me anyway.
Jamiroquai band, they went from being so hip to so lame so quickly.
Do you think it was Denise?
Unbelievable.
Do you think it was Denise Van Outen? Because I mean, a lot of men who've dated Erykah Badu, their music hasn't sounded the same afterwards.
No, I think it was cocaine, man. I think that was the undoing of most great artists.
I was gonna say it's like the written-in disclaimer for most musical artists. It's like, you know what, they were so talented, but cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And cocaine comes in and it just ruins everything. And yeah, so they had and on a musical note, after Traveling Without Moving, which Virtual Insanity was off, that album, Stuart Zender left the group and they're never the same since.
So
they were never the same because he co-wrote the songs.
Yeah.
And he just had a vibe on that bass.
A guy plays bass is a funky dude, exactly.
Yeah, couldn't be matched. He married one of All Saints, Stuart Zender, and
okay, so if he married one of the All Saints, I know for a fact that that one of them went with Liam Gallagher, or was it Noel Gallagher? Fuck, it went with one of the Gallagher brothers.
Yeah, I think
that was Natalie.
Sisters,
that was Natalie
right?
Appleton. Yeah. So then Nicole Appleton, maybe it's her, because Melanie Blatt went with. It could be Shaznay. Who knows?
No, it wasn't Shaznay.
Should we look this up? Because this is like 2017.
I can't remember. The Stuart Zender, Zender. He married also. They're not together anymore. But
damn it.
But they anyway.
I'll go for a Wikipedia spouse.
Go for it.
Thing.
There you go, Stuart Zender. Stuart Zender wife. There you go. We're not the first people to go for it. There you go. I can't remember who it was, but
go for Wikipedia.
Yeah, she'll be in there somewhere. It was just such a great shame because it was that partnership between J.K. and Stuart Zender just produced these 3 fusion albums, jazz funk album, whatever you want to call the genre of music, which I think are terrific, and I still think they're terrific. And I know that JK's a bit of a nonsense and a figure of fun now, but man, were those records good? Those first three.
Oh
Those
yeah,
first three
I
records.
love Candy in My Heels as well.
Really good. Yeah.
You know this boogie is for real. Now, for some reason, it's not on YouTube. Sorry, it's not on Wikipedia. His wife. We've tried to look, so
It wasn't All Saints. I can.
It wasn't Melanie
That's
Black.
what I said.
No.
I love that there is a site called Who Dates Who.
Are you serious?
Melanie,
He did marry
Melanie
Black,
Black.
and then he married Natalie Imbruglia.
It's got
it's
the
a
rumor about it.
No, he's a bad man if he's still rumored. Natalie Imbruglia is one of my biggest crushes of back in the day. She was, I think, in Neighbours or Home and Away. And then when the song Torn came out, I was like, wait a minute, she's got a solo career. And then every other appearance afterwards, like she smashed the Minogues out of my brain. And the Minogues was in there for a while, especially Danny Minogue. But it's weird, like and Melanie Black as well. I had a little crush. She was my favorite All Saint.
Shaznay was my.
Her and Shaznay.
Shaznay was my.
Yeah,
All Saint,
but for serious reasons of having an incident involving a high school girl with braces. When Shaznay had the braces, that's what put me off. I was like, I can't. It's like a girl throwing half a bottle of vinegar on my chips.
Because we were Ponzi music fans, right? We were jazz heads and funk heads. We were already collecting records at that time. And Shaznay wrote the songs, yeah. So she's so she's the one to go for, man. Not only is she beautiful, but she's talented as well, yeah. my wife to be Anne-Marie can do, you know, that whole monologue they do at the beginning of one of their hits.
What's it called? Never Ever.
Yeah. And there's that spoken word
yeah.
monologue at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's really lame.
I'm trying to remember a bit. I can't even remember. I really can't. You know what? This is just proof of those guys back in the day. We put it on mute. We're just like, this is the bit where they're talking. What are they talking about? I don't know. Let's just wait for the singing. We weren't paying attention. We just, for some reason, didn't hear it because I know most of the words of Never Ever from the moment they start singing. But that monologue, mate, to save my mum's life, I can't do it right now, which is sad.
It's the lyrics of I think one of the verses. You can write it in a letter, babe. You can call me on the phone.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's something weird.
Anyway.
But
Anne-Marie can do it. It came on the radio when we were in an Uber. We were getting back from something one day, and it was like something, a switch went on the braid. She sort of bolted upright. It could do the whole thing. I was like, Anne-Marie,
do you know
where did this come from?
Do you know what I've realised, other than congratulations on your engagement, and being obviously a fourth generation leathersmith, so, you know, so what would you call it? Leather tanner. Yeah. Okay. You've got a very unique trade where, let's just say, if the lights all go off and we have to start killing animals again, you're going to come in handy.
You will never meet another chamois leather tanner in your
Absolutely.
life.
Mate, you want a belt? Because I think you need one. No, trust me, you're a bit wide on the boat behind. But those two things I'm going to equate to the fact that you've taken a lot of Ubers. Are you like Uber rich secretly? Like, you know, all the vinyls.
I'm doing all right.
You're doing all right. Okay.
I'm doing all right.
So what is it? Because I heard Uber was getting some bad press, and it seems like guys like you are propping them up. Have you never heard of Lyft?
Why are Uber getting a bad press? Who Lyft? I don't know any of this. I don't know any of the words you just said to me.
I think it was due to like the tax.
Okay, the tax
evasion.
The taxing as well. But then, you know, I buy stuff off Amazon as well. You know, it's tough.
What, buying stuff off Amazon, or it's tough not using Uber?
It's tough being
Uber rich.
It's not tough being Uber. It's not. I'm not Uber rich. Let's not go mad.
Yeah.
It's difficult being shopping ethically.
Yes.
It can be difficult doing that. All right. So I try not to do the slave labor brands. I try to avoid the Nikes. I don't go to the Primarks and things like that. But also, I happen to, you know, you got to do what you got to do. If you need to buy the chicken that was tortured to feed your family, buy the chicken. You know, and I don't know. I know about the Uber, and I have friends of mine who are black cab drivers, and I know I shouldn't do it, but God damn, it's convenient.
Are they always available, these black cab drivers?
No, well that's it. I mean, hey man, it's hard. I think if you want to turn the screws on people for unethical consumption, you're going to turn the screws on a lot of people.
Mm.
And the only people who are all out 100% ethical shoppers and everything they do, you don't hang out with these people, Mel. They're very boring people.
I tend to try not to look at them, which is I start feeling sorry for them once I do, you know. So if I don't notice them, but then sometimes they turn up at shows or you're in the tube and it's rush hour and you've got no other choice but to look at them, smell their breath or smell their armpit. So you kind of get you know.
I love a Nando's. I love KFC. I love it.
You mentioned chicken cottage and Sam's before we started, or maybe it was as soon as
I am a fried chicken nut. Yeah. I love it.
Now you see, what's the problem with fried chicken then? If you
man,
order an orange Mirinda as well, is that bad? Does that make you like Kel from Keenan and Kel?
Yeah. Look, you know, you morality and ethics are constructs that you make for yourself, man. And if you're comfortable with what you're doing ethically, if you feel that you can do better, and if you think, oh man, I shouldn't be doing that because that goes against my moral code, then don't do that. But you can't win every battle. It's impossible.
No.
Or you'd never drink a Coca-Cola. You'd never have a cheap sandwich. You'd never shop in Sainsbury's. You have to be realistic. You have to live your life and be as good as a person that you can be. You know, don't kick anyone in the face. Do things like that. You know. But
well, unless they're tramping and grabbing your best pair of trainers.
And everyone's done that thing where you have some brand, especially when you're a kid and you're growing up and you're learning about the world a little bit. You have some brand you love. You're like, oh man, I only rock this brand of sneakers. Or I only watch. And then someone's like, you know, that all comes from slave labor in Bangladesh. And you go, that can't be right. And you look it up and you read the books and you find out it is right. And you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
And that continues for your entire life.
But my mates are still dropping 150 on a pair of Nikes. It's this what can you do? And then like, I mean, the Yeezys, you know, I've seen people lose their mind over trainers. I was personally at I got a phone call at like 5:30 in the morning, get down to fucking what's it called? Shoe place. What's it fucking called? Size. Get down to Size at 6 o'clock in fucking Carnaby Street, and I was there from 6 till 9. I wasn't meeting Justin Bieber. No, I was waiting for a fucking pair of trainers.
If you met Justin Bieber, what would you say to Justin Bieber? If you met Justin Bieber tomorrow,
I'd be like, kid, you got loads of talent, but you suck as a human being. Fix up. And that's it. Do
you know what I'd ask?
I'd be like, you give the media too much opportunity to show you being a jackass. Be a jackass under closed doors and with loads of fucking coked out
like
bitches and
does.
tigers.
Like else does.
Do a Tyson.
You know what I'd ask him? Do you ever think about that monkey?
No, he's had that question so many times. He probably paid the monkey now. He's probably made sure that monkey is comfortable so he doesn't have to think about it anymore.
I'm a
10 grand to a monkey.
I'm a pet owner, right?
I've got
a dog. I've got my little doggy. I love him to pieces.
Is he your first dog as well?
Well, I had dogs growing up. He's the first dog that's mine. He's my dog.
Yeah.
And the idea of me having to leave him at customs, I couldn't bear with that, man. I couldn't deal with that.
What about
that would screw me up. So, and I can't believe that Justin Bieber was like, monkey, without like bonding with that monkey and giving him little peanuts and watching him peel them. Go, holy shit, this monkey's amazing. And then the Germans being like, well, we're gonna have to keep the monkey. Then going, hey, you can't keep the monkey. And all of his people would have been around him going, mate, you got to go to the concert. You got to carry on moving. There's press everywhere. You look crazy. You got to get out. You got to. And he was like, my monkey. And I feel bad and that was my turning point when I became a believer, because like he must wake up at night. Oh, my monkey! Oh my God! Wondering where that monkey is now because he doesn't know, and I feel bad for Justin. Maybe they all know what happens to the monkey. I never bothered to read up any more on that story.
I think it was covered on the Donald Trump roast or maybe the Justin Bieber roast. They mentioned the monkey more than once in jest, and he was like, the thing is, I like the kid, right? But there's two things that you can't deny. He's not in charge of his career.
Nope.
And even if he was a nice guy, he's got too many fucking influences around him that's going to keep him being the talented but cursed soul. Like the Hendrix, like the Amy Winehouse, like him as a person.
Well, let's not go mad.
No, I'm not going to say he's going to die at 27. No.
Or putting him in the same categories.
Well, I mean, in terms of talent, he can sing. That's the thing. They find you as a young seed that you've got the makings of being anything you want.
And a modern star, you can't. Like, he paid his dues. He came up from YouTube. Like, he wasn't discovered. He didn't do a talent show. He put his stuff on YouTube. His mother put his stuff on YouTube. and he became a big star. I don't like his music, but you
None
have
of
to
it?
say no. Man.
The last album,
Why would I listen to Justin Bieber album?
there's some songs in there that sound really good
I
inside
got white
at night.
hairs now. I got
So
white
have I,
hair.
dude. I'm not trying to hide them now.
Have you had Cavi on this show?
Yes, I have had Cavi on the show.
Did he talk about the fact that he dyes his hair?
Oh, wait a minute. What are you saying?
Cavi told me
He
this.
never mentioned that. You're the second comedian as well to take shots at Cavi after he's been on the show.
I'm not taking
shots fired again, Cavi.
I'm not taking shots at Cavi. I've known Cavi for
a long time.
years
For a
and
long
years
time.
and years
Yeah,
and years
yeah,
and
yeah.
years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I love him.
Yeah.
I think he's a great guy.
He never mentioned that.
I think he's a
Complimented on his hair a
he's
few
good guy.
times. He got uncomfortable.
I made some throwaway joke on Facebook about men who dye their hair,
Yeah.
and I was basically saying that we were talking about wigs.
Yes.
I was saying it doesn't matter if you put a piece on, or if you get plugs, or if you dye your hair,
Yeah.
you're wearing a wig.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah.
And we were doing a show together, and he came up to me afterwards, and he was like, I'm not sure I'm with you on this whole hair dyeing thing. I was like, you don't dye your hair. He's like, man, I'm nearly 40. Of course I dye my hair. And this blew my mind. Because if you don't know Cavi, guys, he's got a beautiful mane. I mean, it goes down, between his shoulder blades.
Lion.
It's beautiful. And he uses, just for men, the one that's designed specifically for black guys. Because it's the cheapest. He told me this. He uses that brand specifically because it is the
There's
cheapest.
an Uncle Ben's just for men.
I really hope, Cavi, that you're listening and watching to this because I know
fired.
it really annoys you that I talk
Shots
about this
fired.
publicly. But he does. He dyes his hair, and I don't think it's right for a man to dye his hair.
Okay.
I can't remember how we got onto this. Oh yes, I've got white hair.
You got
I'm
white hair,
too
yeah.
old to listen to Justin Bieber records.
There you go. It started with Bieber and ended with Cavi.
I think if Justin Bieber was like, why is that old guy in North London listening to my records? Why is he doing that? There's no need for him to do that.
So you think he just prefers for it to be young girls that will continuously grow in...
Are we still talking about Cavi?
No, I was talking about Justin Bieber.
I'm sorry, Cavi. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry that I've exposed you to the internet
No, it's
for
fine.
dyeing your hair.
But Cavi, you were here, and I was not worshipping. I was not praising, but I was complimenting you to the point that you got a bit uncomfortable. And I think I know why now you got uncomfortable, because you knew that shit wasn't real. Which leads me...
It's a wig. It's a chemical wig he's wearing.
Which leads me on to, like, obviously Wayne Rooney and all the other have lost their hair and they got hair plugs and shit. But this
Antonio Conte.
Yes.
Wig.
He's got a wig, has he? Oh.
Well, no, it's plugs, but in my mind,
His
wig.
wife is beautiful, though. I don't blame him. But that's what led me to scribbling that like a drunken 4-year-old. Because when you started... Because I'm scared, man. To go near this is tough. I've asked a few, let's just say, comedians who are proprietors of this. And let's just say they took aversion to this. But this subject is kind of weird. You talking about people having fake hair, right? Having stuff on their head. I don't like the fact that if you're a young and very, very attractive black girl, that you have a wig. It's killing me. I don't know what you did to your hair from birth to now, but I've seen, like, for me, one of the biggest attractions that I've got, and it's not just in black girls, it's in most women. You know Alex Kingston? She's an actress. She was on ER. And
You're showing your age
she was
now.
I know, and she was also on Doctor Who as River Song.
I think I know the person you mean. I'm not going to confirm, but I think I know the person you mean.
So that's a white woman who's got really big, vivacious hair. I love black women with afros. I completely adore them. Any woman with natural hair, it doesn't have to even be big, but just natural hair that's been unfucking destroyed by chemicals for years until it becomes all like a Brillo pad. It's ridiculous. So in my mind, I've seen beautiful haired women, which turn me on, and then I've seen other women who are still very attractive. Like, I really am attracted to them, but it's the hair that's really is like a stumbling block, because not all of them, some of them just have simple, like, weaves, but others have, like, your hair's gone, and without you putting on another piece, you can't go out.
So that's so interesting. So can I ask you?
I can't go swimming with this bitch. I can't have a shower with her. I can't fucking pull her fucking hair in doggy style. It's ruining a lot of things for me that I need in
I've
life.
seen Good Hair, the Chris Rock movie. It's a great movie.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So let me ask you a question about that then. We've heard your views on hair.
Yeah.
What was your mother's hair like? Did she wear it naturally?
My mum had normal hair until she started permanent, and that's when it got problematic.
I think it's a different ball game for women. I would say that. I think it's a completely different ball game.
Makeup is bad enough, but when you're converted,
Makeup is bad enough. No, it's not, man.
But
People
it's
can do whatever they want.
no,
It's
but
their
it's
face,
no.
man.
When I say makeup
Yeah.
is bad enough, it's because the adverts are geared towards women to be like, maybe it's just her, like from fetus until this wonderful shape of a woman. Oh no, maybe it's Maybelline, dude. You wouldn't have never walked up to her in a bar if you didn't see her eyes looking like that or her lips so glossy. So. I'm like, adverts or advertising or marketing has gone towards a way where women accept makeup as a part of their life, even from as young as like 8, 9, 10. So why would it be weird for...
Do you think that's a cultural brainwashing, then?
Definitely. In the West.
So?
Yeah, if I found a bitch in the jungle, trust me, she's only concerned about finding me fish and stuff like that and making us a camp at night time and telling me when it's going to rain.
Tribal people wear war paint and tattoos, and they put the rings in their lips.
That's
and
symbolic.
They put the rings around their necks.
That's different. That's different. Because
But
think about the hogs that those dudes have got. If they need their wife to deep throat, they're going to have a big neck. So I consider that's the actual reason why they had that shit in the first place.
Holy Moses!
No, I mean, why else would you have that, man? Those guys have fucking got spears, mate.
But isn't when a woman, a younger woman, she goes out on the town with her face, isn't that her war paint? Isn't that what she's putting on? I'm putting on my warrior face. Isn't that what that's all about?
Yeah, or showing more skin, or smelling super nice, so she sends out the right pheromones.
That's just fake. That's just.
It's all fake. It's all fake.
What's the problem?
Because now, here's the problem: girls who are working out and going to the gym and wearing leggings. Okay, a girl with a gym bag and her hair in a ponytail with no makeup, but bum ass leggings, is going to destroy most of these tarts trying to go down the street looking like the Joker's, henchwomen.
Yeah, but that assumes
makeup.
that assumes that they're putting on the makeup to impress men, when I think most women put on makeup to feel better about themselves,
to cover up what they consider as flaws.
Yeah, which is another. I mean, I'm a man raised by women.
Same here.
Two older sisters. My mum, my dad worked so hard he wasn't around loads.
Same.
Do whatever you
Mum,
like.
grandma, and sister. Yeah.
Do it like if you need or want or choose to put on some makeup to make yourself feel good about yourself, what do you care? What's the matter?
Yeah, but I mean, to pretend that it's not based on society's pressure of saying you can't just go out there normal. I mean, think about it. You always meet a girl on the 10th floor or above. You meet a guy, you meet him on the ground floor sometimes. You literally meet him at the lobby. Like, we're like almost the what do you call it? The bellboy. We meet you from the actual fucking door. We walk you in.
If you think men don't have their versions of
some
wearing makeup, then you're crazy.
No, some do.
But
other than lotion and hair gel, there's not that much for most men.
Nah, we'll make sure we put on. I knew guys who, when they went on the big night out there, I didn't even know these guys owned a shirt. All of a sudden they're wearing a shirt and it's pressed. All of a sudden they're wearing cologne. Their hair's done. They've had a shave. Why is that different?
That's not different though, because a girl can just have a wash, put on some lotion and mango body scrub from the body shop and just go out there looking beautiful with her combed hair. No, she changes the eyes, she changes the contours of her cheeks, she changes the lips.
That's the extreme.
That's what I'm saying. They change almost a lot about it, so that in the morning the only thing you can remember from last night is what's left on the pillowcase.
Holy moly.
I'm just saying, if it's bad. They're not all that bad. I mean, I don't know.
I understand your point of view. I understand that whole viewpoint. But I think if a girl is putting on that makeup and wants to make those changes, then that's fine. The line for me, and there shouldn't be a line because it's not my body and what the fuck do I care, but if there was a line, I would say it's when you do surgery or you have like the Botox and things like that, because then you're chemically and physically altering yourself. That I find very difficult. But then if my sister was sat next to me who had her teeth whitened last week for a party we went to as a family, and I ripped the piss out of her for it, the whole party, she'd be like, fuck, it's my teeth, what do you care?
Yeah.
What do you fucking care?
I'm kind of like...
And there's no answer to that.
No, you're right, and I'm sorry to cut you, but I'm kind of indifferent on the actual surgery, though. I mean, if a girl has small boobs and she wants to feel better by getting bigger boobs, I'm not really against that. I'm against the arses, though. You need to stop that fucking Kim Kardashian shit right now at the door. It just, or even
that's such a double standard, man.
It's not a double standard.
You can't
If a
say
girl's
that
got small
a
lips,
woman puts on fake eyelashes. Is
that's
a societal pressure
that's a
and
monetary
bad.
monetary thing, though. She's doing that throughout the rest of her life, so that she's got to get used to what she looks
Do you know
like.
how much breast augmentation costs? And the risks of it?
I'm just guessing.
You can die from that.
You can die, but most girls have got it
And
done.
then you got
and
the girls who had the breast augmentation, and most breast augmentation is of course because of mastectomies, which is a horrible thing in itself. But these women had these breast implants, and it turned out that the stuff inside them was highly cancerous.
Oh, the silicone.
I mean, man,
yeah, but
imagine?
now they're using saline. Then now as science has got better, the actual idea is being executed a lot more efficiently. That's just the way of the world. We start off with a seed, and then it becomes a tree, and before we know it, we're making money off of this tree. But we haven't really taken care of the tree. We haven't sorted out the pH or how much sunlight it's supposed to have, or whether we put it next to a factory so it just breathes in toxic air.
Yeah, and it'll change next week as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll change. You seen Sleeper by Woody Allen?
No, I haven't.
And he wakes up 300 years in the future, and he's in complete shock. And the guy says, "Here, smoke this." He says, "I'm not smoke. I don't smoke." He goes, "What are you talking about? It's tobacco. It's the healthiest thing we know for the body."
Oh,
But that's true. Like science completely changes always. But no, I find it really interesting that you make that distinction that it's okay for a woman to have breast augmentation and I guess rhinoplasty, the nose jobs and everything else. But
depends.
But
Not nose jobs.
That to you is. So
some cosmetic surgery,
You're
like
talking
lips.
about,
A girl can get her lips done.
all right. What about if a woman wants a
or
breast
a nose if she hates her nose?
What about a breast reduction surgery? Would you be behind that in the same way as?
Sometimes that's healthy to save these bitches' backs. Yes.
All right. Okay.
No, I'll be serious. Like sometimes, like you have a Dolly Parton type of thing, right? Or
Brilliant
I think,
woman, Dolly Parton. I'm a huge country.
I love Dolly Parton. She's awesome, and she's still going as well.
First ever woman female executive at a record company.
Really?
Yeah, she's wild.
Wow.
She's great, Dolly Parton.
And she did a great tour. Was it last year, the year before in London? My friend went to see her and she goes, "Trust me, she hasn't skipped a beat." I'm like, "Well, listen, I'm finding her out on YouTube now, but the fact that you're telling me that." So you like country and western as well?
Yeah, I love country music. And I'm not a rock fan.
No.
I'm one of the few people who look like this, who's not a big David Bowie fan, not a big Rolling Stones fan, never really got into all that stuff. But country, I love because the lyrics, there's no poetry, there's no Morrissey, there's no mucking about. They tell you how it is. I work with shit, so I drank a shitload of whiskey. That's the song. Bang. I understand that. I can relate to that. A bicycle on the side of a hill? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're saying to me.
I was so hungry I had to eat the cactus.
And you put a pin in hip-hop earlier, and that's why I love hip-hop as well, because you can't hide in hip-hop. Mm-hmm. You can't hide. You have to say what you feel. You can be lyrical and you can be floral, but as soon as an MC starts going into the weird shit, it doesn't work. That's why I like my two favorite MCs of all time, Slick Rick, a storyteller. There's no fucking about in Slick Rick. He does that tune about he's going to the club, he stops in a shop to get a slice of pizza, he chats up a girl. That's the song. There's no ambiguity in that. That's the song. Amazing. And then you, on the other end of the spectrum, my other favorite is MF Doom.
Oh shit!
Who, and the way MF Doom talks, again, he doesn't fuck about, but it's so clever.
Poignant.
The lyrical intricacies are so good, but he does it in like almost like a folk language, in old sayings and
proverbial almost.
Food, a concept album about how language, our relationship with language towards food and relationship with our language towards our lives are completely meshed and intermingled. There's no hiding in what he's saying in this. I mean, man, Food, what a record. If you're interested in hip hop, that second MF Doom album, Good Night Nurse, that's all you need. It's fantastic. And the art storytelling by Slick Rick.
Fuck, that's delicious. Action Bronson for you there. If I tell you that I lost my wallet in El Segundo, who would you tell me did that track?
Tribe Called Quest.
Nice one. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like you said, there's no hiding in some music, and I'm such a. I don't know. I think I'm getting old because all of my favorite music has been made. I got to jump in a DeLorean to actually listen to it. I can't. Nothing that's happened from this point forward has impressed me, with the exceptions of like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Anderson .Paak, who was like a drummer and has now become a frontman.
I saw him live last January. Fantastic.
Oh wow,
Great
yeah.
show, yeah.
He's going to be in Glasgow this year, so I might have to make my way down to Glasgow. But
Get
yeah,
the Healing Fields. Ask for Anne Marie.
oh, is she going to be there as well?
Yeah, she works there every year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So how did you two crazy kids meet? I love saying that to people.
Ah, man, we met at a music festival in the south of France 5 years ago.
Sweet. Where in the south of France? Saint-Tropez, San Rafael?
For you musos out there, there's a DJ called Giles Peterson, been going for many, many years. He has his own festival in the south of France called the Worldwide. It's in a small town called Sète, the south of Marseille.
Oh, yeah.
And I went there, and I'm ashamed to say I went there with a girl I was seeing at the time.
Oh, shit.
And I met this girl, and she was just a firecracker. I'd never met anyone like her in my life. And 5 years later, we're getting married.
So wait. This is amazing.
And
exclusive
true.
for you guys, and true.
Yeah.
So you met
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Anne Marie in the south of France. Is she French?
No.
Okay, all right.
She lived 2 streets down from me.
Oh wow, your whole life.
No,
Oh, okay.
in Stroud Green in North London where I live.
Okay, nice. That would have been weird. Stalking.
No, she's a Leicester girl.
Oh, okay, so originally from Leicester, and she plocked her way into Crouch South, Stroud Green. Sorry,
Stroud Green, yeah.
And
Which is halfway between Crouch
End and Finsbury Park. Yeah. And so you met this flower whilst you were walking with a side piece, or she was like your main girlfriend at the
I
time?
would never describe Emery as a flower for a start.
Okay.
She's more like a nettle
Oh, okay.
or a bard. You know. Rough but beautiful in its own way,
Yeah.
and a survivor.
Well, I mean, thorns usually have a rose at their tip, so it's okay.
Exactly right. That's very poetic.
Thanks.
No, that's a bit disingenuous of me. I talk up the story. I was going to this festival anyway, and this girl who I was seeing, you see these girls, and this is not.
This is doomed.
Exactly.
I just got to ride the pussy and jump out in time.
And she turned around to me about a month before I was going to this festival. She was like, "Oh, I'm going as well. Me and all my friends are going." And I was like, "Uh-huh."
Okay.
Right. Okay. Have you booked somewhere to stay? Because it's real difficult to get accommodation out there. Yeah, we got. All right. Okay. Well, that's good.
She said.
So we went out there, and I have to say the girl I was seeing at the time was a very nice woman. But she was a spiritualist. She had healing crystals by the bed.
Oh shit.
One of those.
She was a Hummer.
The Reiki healers.
The Reiki.
The cosmic debris, and so we met out there, and I met this girl, and who was staying in. She worked at Comic Relief at the time. She worked at the sports relief wing of Comic Relief.
Okay.
As did this guy I was sharing this flat with when we went out there, and anyway, we got to talking, and way out of my league, much older than me.
Why would you say that?
Beautiful.
I think I speak for everyone who's on this show and watching him in HD, right? Is Tom Ettling not a dime piece? I'd say that. You are a very attractive man. Stop putting yourself down. But go on.
That's
why in these glasses you can't see how handsome he is.
My own mother rated me a 5 at best.
Well, I'll be a little bit, I don't know, creeped out. She rated you a 10.
Well, all I will say is I'm a much better kisser than that anyway. But no, so yeah. Anyway, but hey, that's how we meet. And then I had to woo Anne Marie, and it took 2-3 years before she fully was like, okay.
So what you mean? You were in friend zone? You was in friend territory?
No. I don't live in friend zone.
Yeah, it's a good place.
I just worked damn hard.
Yeah.
I taking her on great dates and treating her like a lady and.
Oh, you mean to get the kiss? Like you had to court her?
No, I was getting the kiss.
Oh, okay.
It was.
Yeah, no, it's all right. We can stop there. We both understand what you mean.
I had to, but not only that, but
I like that though. It's almost old fashioned. Sorry to cut you, but it's like when the girl
it was so hard,
wants to realize that if he really is persistent and he really does want me for me, like this could turn out to be everything.
Yeah.
Which there is, where no stakes are at hand. I don't know how a girl feels, but I do know they love guys differently than the way guys would love a girl. And yeah, you got to give them props for the fact.
And it turned out to be everything. I mean, she's my best friend, and I love her very much.
Oh, God bless you. I'm really happy for you, man. Congratulations.
Cheers, man. Thanks very much.
We're the same age, so you put even more pressure on me now.
Why? But why do you feel that? Because Amory's 4 years older than me.
It doesn't matter about the
So
age.
don't worry about
For
that.
me, it's because my friends put me on Tinder, okay, and then they set me up with a blind date. So even my friends are like, "We'll give up hope on you now. We're just gonna throw you onto a profile and find you a woman." I'm like, well, I didn't want to do that. I like the old-fashioned predator, standing on a rooftop checking out heat signatures.
Don't use the word predator.
Well, I had locks at the time. But it's true. Should have used a different movie. Maybe Commando.
Yeah, the word
but
predator in terms of dating
it's not good, is it? No.
That's not really the one you want to go for.
It's not what I'm going for, no.
No.
But no, I just hunting, and that's what brings me back to predator. I like the hunt. I like just because of the situation and the time zone.
You ain't
or
got
the
time
place.
to bleed.
That too, but it's just like if I'm out and about and I'm in a situation, usually that evolves into meeting new people. And I think interactions with new human beings is essential. Like being in a comfort zone and always going to the same pub or Weatherspoons, or you know what I mean. Like I like to go outside of everything that I've experienced already and try something new. And usually when I'm doing something new, I find somebody.
Well, that's why we do stand-up comedy, isn't it? Because that's one of the great things you do. You get out the house and you see parts of London that you never seen before. You go to venues that you never knew existed, and meet people that you wouldn't. The reason we're sat here today in front of these microphones is because we were doing exactly that.
Stand-up comedy, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, this is the loveliest segue. I love these segues. When did you start doing comedy?
I started doing comedy seriously.
Seriously? Were you a serious fam?
Well, so I started doing where I am now in my stand-up. I started doing a year ago. I started on April Fool's Day 2016.
Oh wow!
But I dabbled before, which is why I know Cavi, and a few other guys.
Were you just working out who you were?
Yeah, quite. And I did sketch comedy. Live on stage. I did some writing for radio and various other bits and pieces, but I didn't get into say stand up until about a year ago because I had to get out of the house. I mean, I wish there was a more romantic way of saying it. I needed to find myself. I needed a calling. All that stuff came later. All the cliches you hear about stand up, that all came later. But I literally did it because I was like, okay, I was in a band. I couldn't do that anymore because throw that old dishcloth out of a window and you'll hit 10 bass players. No, if you can't just join a band as a bass player because everyone thinks they can play bass.
Yeah.
So you have to run a band and to organise. I was playing disco and boogie, right?
Yeah.
So I was in a band with 6 people, which is small for that genre of music.
Yeah.
And to organise that
Yeah.
week in, week out is a nightmare. I mean, you have to deal with guitarists. Guitarists, by the way,
Are scatty as fuck.
holy
I know.
moly.
And they usually smell like a combination of piss or pussy, but you have to forgive them because they can play their dicks off.
I don't want to be the star, but I absolutely want to be the star. So that was a non-starter because I'm what I do with work. It's a lot of pressure. So I needed what can I do that can get me out? I have no skills in any sport at all. I cannot kick a ball.
No.
I love football. I'm a season ticket holder, but I cannot kick a ball.
For which team?
Tottenham Hotspur.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes, sir. Oh really, Mel? Oh good man.
Bro, do you know where I was born? I was born on Asplins Road, okay, which is in Tottenham N17.
Yeah.
My grandma, her flat still to this day is in Bretton and Port Road, which is Kathleen Ferry Court, which is literally you just look outside of a balcony, which is at the top, and it is White Hart Lane, which has been renovated into a super stadium.
Fantastic.
I cannot be any more happier. Let's put a pin in this. Let's go back to what we're talking about because we're going to talk about Spurs for ages. Fuck me, team.
We will. I can't remember. Now you've got me on football. I don't remember where we were.
You jumped onto football for some reason. You mentioned season ticket holder.
No, because my hobby is right. So
Yeah.
I that was my one thing that I did. That's the one thing that got me out of the house. I'm an avid Spurs fan, season ticket holder, have been for years ago. My brother-in-law and great mates and yada yada yada. Anne-Marie too, by the way. If you're into football, marry a woman who's into football.
Oh yeah, and probably plays like Xbox or knows how to at least change the pad for you, like while you go and take a pee.
Yeah,
Just
she's
those
no
two things
she's
are
no good at
essential.
FIFA 17, but she can hold her own on Star Wars Battlefront. So you know. You
Oh
gotta say
my
that about her.
days, dude! Marry that girl. Oh, you are sorry. Just disclaimer: if you find someone like Anne Marie or in that ilk, I'm really happy for Rick Murta as well. You know Rick Murta?
No, I don't know Rick.
Rick Murta? You don't know Rick Murta?
No, I don't think
I've
so.
got to get you fuckers together. Let me show you a picture of Rick Murta.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Rick Murta has got he's got two specials out. I think the first one is called Self-Indulgent Rick with a little P in brackets. And he's coming up with another one very soon, which is, I think, primarily one-liners because he's been working on that craft. But Rick has been on a few shows of mine. And he also is in a relationship with, I'm going to say Sarah Game Girl Collection or Sarah Game Collection on Instagram. And she's basically a huge, not just retro, but full-blown gamer girl. And what can I say, man? This guy, he's one of the nicest guys I know anyway, but it's quite awesome for him to end up with.
Yeah, I know that guy.
She's a hottie. She's a hottie.
As is my darling memory.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm saying the nicest guys usually end up getting the nicest girls. Oh, Jesus. Camera switching was really fast there. There we go. Know that guy?
Yeah, I think I've seen him, but we don't know each other.
Okay. All right. Well, you will do now because you're now connected through the show.
All right.
But yeah, he's with a very beautiful girl, and she's into games as well, and she supports him because, you know, if you look over there by the Bat Monkey, there is Macho Man Randy Savage as well.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah, and he made me that clay mold, so he's currently doing that as well as comedy down in Brighton. Oh yeah, he knew I liked the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah,
good stuff.
Rick Murta, he's got some great commissions. But yeah, man,
that's hilarious.
He's why did I mention him? Yeah, because he's got a girl like yourself who is just into the same things, and that's all it is. You've got to find the one. As in, what is the one? The one is the one that loves you for you no matter what, because she's into the same stuff that you are into, which is a bonus, or she's interested in the stuff.
No,
that
it's not a
you're
bonus. It's not a bonus. It's a foundation.
It's a foundation, yeah, but I would say it's a bonus because some people just fuck and then they end up having a kid and then they end up just staying together. Other people just
and in that scenario you just talked about, you need to be able to watch the same shit on TV.
Oh yeah,
or it's never going to last.
Or at least put up with what they watch.
Holy Moses! I cannot imagine what it must be like if you have a newborn child.
Yeah.
And with all the sleep deprivation that goes with that, you can't sleep on that, and then you get on like, do you want to watch the Spurs is on? Do you want to watch the football? I hate football.
Oh,
I would rather watch. Put this show in here, and then you're like, you want to watch that show?
Are you serious?
You want to watch that show? And that, because then also like, which way up do we raise the kids? Are they going to watch that show? Are they going to watch the football?
I've already got him a Spurs kit. What have you done to him?
Yeah, well, I that Spurs kit got dyed red in the wash. Oh!
Wait a minute.
I noticed you never dyed your stuff red. Anyway, yeah, so... No, the superficial stuff is important. It really is important. Read this book. You'll love it. You'll think it's hilarious.
I will.
You know, that you know, but that kind of interaction is what you need. What did you think of that movie? I thought it stunk. Me too. Let's go get a beer. That's what you want out of life.
Or at least the person who's willing to try it, like somebody who's willing to try something new. Because you might find it goes from another part of the world. And for you to accept it to grow in your customs, but you not to grow in theirs, is fucking horrendous. I watched a program that was so funny. It's called 90 Day Fiancé. I only watched like 1 or 2 seasons, but it's just the stories. They usually take 6 guys. I would say mostly it's American guys. Sometimes there's women. And the women's stories are just so sad. But they take 6 people, all right, who all meet somebody online from another country. They decide to apply for a K1 visa where they fly that person all the way back to their part of the world, America mostly, all the time. If not, yeah, indefinitely. And they've got 90 days in which to marry. That will make the person who's flown from wherever they're from have a permanent citizenship in America. And also the happiness of the
This is
relationship and stuff
brutal.
like that.
This is brutal. The premise is brutal.
The premise is brutal, but some of
My
the
wife
stories
doesn't
are so
understand me.
funny.
But
Some
then
of the-
again, she only moved here from Thailand 3 days ago, so it's going to take some time.
Thailand.
Oh,
Jesus.
that's a joke. It's a joke, Mel.
I know. But I mean, like, I was going to say something else afterwards. And she got past the X-ray. So you know if you got a girl who comes over from abroad, all your friends and family are going to be like, well, you've got a mail order bride, haven't you? You've got some cheap whore just wants to get a green card, and that's what some of the premises of the show are. Where
Of course,
because he took one girl from the Philippines, which is quite close to Thailand, and then in season 2, a guy takes a girl from Thailand. There is some family members that are not exactly too happy about it, but that's why I love the show. There's one girl from Colombia and one dude from Nebraska, and he does nothing. So he takes her from a vivacious nightlife and dancing town to the middle of nowhere, and he goes to work all day.
Love knows no borders. My friend was born and raised, near me. She went and did she went to work and then luckily did her PhD in Malawi. Married a local guy down there. Super happy. First kid is on the way. That's what works. In my experience, it's almost the total opposite. And it's not about culture, because I'm marrying a girl from Leicester, and if you've ever been to Leicester, you'll know it's very different from the part of the world I come from. But it really, to me, it's all about geography, and I think one of the key reasons that me and Amory work is that she lived 2 streets away.
Yeah.
It really helps. I mean, I dated a girl from Ealing. She was fantastic and a very successful teen author now, and I really wish her well, and everything's going great for her. But she lived in Ealing, Finsbury Park. It's not gonna work.
Yeah,
It's not gonna work.
I gotta go into another zone, girl. You don't understand. Oh gosh.
Can't you stay for 5 more minutes?
No. I'm not taking those 3 buses home.
I have to be up at 6:15 if I miss the last 2, but that's an hour anyway.
You have to be up at 6:15.
Yeah, this is why I on the comedy circuit, not many people know me because I have to go.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, I have to go.
Yeah.
I can't stay around for one more drink because I have to be up at 6 to go and tan leather.
At least you drink, you soldier. Some people just be like, nope, I've got to be up at 5. I'm going to drink soda water.
Oh,
like,
I'm a
fuck 'em up in
functioning
beer.
alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say your love of booze came from maybe watching Spurs lose?
No, my love booze comes from I come from a boozy family. We're always big drinkers.
I don't know how I feel. I'm like, is there a version of Mel? Is there a version of Tommy that has a satchel or briefcase and he's walking on his way to Canary Wharf, going into a building to do some kind of great job, or was that person killed when we had our first beer? That's what I just think about shit like that sometimes.
Nah, because if you didn't drink, then you wouldn't be Mel.
It's true.
That's how that works. The only concern I have about drinking is the physical. It might it may kill me.
Yeah, the health prospects.
I'm not genuinely an alcoholic.
No, but you like to have a drink.
I love alcohol. I think alcohol is a wonderful thing. I think it's a great leveler of people. And I've never been a mean drunk, and I've never been a fighting drunk.
Yeah, or just a person who talks.
Or a guy who has 3 drinks and then vomits everywhere and passes out. And if I was one of those guys, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how frankly we can talk, but I have tried cocaine.
Oh, dude, no, listen.
And cocaine does nothing for me.
I've smoked weed, okay, on many podcasts. I think I've mentioned the fact that I've taken acid, I've eaten mushrooms, so I'm cool.
On this podcast, he's taken acid and slept mushrooms. He's just been clever with the camera editing.
I'll be all over the place. You could tell that. But no, I would say I've done all of these experiences in my life at a certain time where I needed answers, or I was looking for answers, or I was looking for an escape. And then I realized all the questions and endeavors that you do to do these drugs, you're doing a disservice to these drugs, because the drugs I've done are natural. They've come from the ground. I've never done cocaine, but the drugs I've mentioned just now, and every single one of them, when I stopped trying to do something and just allow the drug to take over and just let go, like the letting go part is the hardest way, but the easiest part is the euphoria and the enjoying and experiencing what it is all about. And I've realized you can't do this shit every day. You can't do this shit on a weekday. You got to pick like a time where you know you haven't got anything else to do, because not only in the action of doing it, but it's the reflection afterwards.
Let me tell you a story about a friend of mine. Right?
Yes.
Great friend of mine. My entire life, we're still great mates. He used to smoke weed, skunk every day, every day. And he always felt that this is, if only I didn't smoke weed, I wouldn't be lazy. I'd be more proactive. My life would be in better shape. Anyway, he carried on smoking weed, and eventually he started to get the panic attacks, which happens to some people when they smoke constantly, or happens to some people when they smoke. It's just one of the side effects that can happen if you choose to smoke weed.
Okay.
So he very sensibly, after 2 of these panic attacks, said, "Well, I'm not doing that anymore." And now here we are, nearly 10 years later, and he goes, "I'm still lazy. I still beat myself up over not doing this, that, and the other thing." That's who you are. The reason that you've never painted the Sistine Chapel or written, your Fifth Symphony, it's got nothing to do with the drink and the drugs. You just weren't going to do it.
Inherently,
you were never going to do it.
Yeah.
Which is why the people who create, some of the people who create these masterpieces that are wonderful things, like your Rick Jameses, we were talking about cocaine as a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
He was going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
And he was a drug addict up to the eyeballs. And most of them are, some of them aren't. Frank Zappa, never, to my mind, a musical genius and a great creative force, never did any drugs at all, and was still amazing. And then you get another person, like a Tom Waits, who was a hopeless alcoholic for the first half
Smoker
of his
as
career.
well. Yeah. Morphed his voice
and wrote stuff that's up there with, in my opinion, Hoagie Carmichael and Irving Berlin.
Dylan.
Dylan. Another hopeless drug addict.
Yeah.
The list goes on, and the list goes on for the people who aren't. What is in you is not affected. Alcohol is a symptom. Alcoholism. And I don't really believe that I'm an addict, because I don't drink during the day, and I have a handle on it.
You don't hide beer in the toilet like Homer.
No. I drink because I love a drink, and I also know that if I've got to get up to work the next day, I can't have 6 pints.
Yes.
I can have 2, but I can't have 6.
You cut yourself off. Yeah.
Exactly, because I have to function.
Yeah.
And believe me, I'd love to be a hopeless drunk. That, to me, sounds great.
Yeah, but then here's the thing. The love that you have for something is because, like you said, you're functioning with it. You do it past a certain hour, so you get to appreciate it. But imagine if you had chocolate cake for breakfast. It would be nice every once in a while.
I do have chocolate cake for breakfast.
I've had chocolate cake for breakfast. It was a Saturday, though. I didn't do it on a Monday on the way to work. Imagine doing that every day of the week. You can't have chocolate cake all the time. That experiment has been known to show people that drugs, some of them, is your future happiness. I think Tamara Katan said this. And what you're doing is you're robbing from your future happiness. That's if you look at a drug as to use up something. But then at other times, if you're just at a mode where you've accomplished enough, this is part of your reward system. I'm going to turn on Netflix. I'm going to roll a couple of joints. I'm going to write some. Do you know what I mean? So
I do.
If you just stay around all day and you don't do anything, and then you just smoking and lazy like your aforementioned friend, the actual benefit.
He wasn't lazy. It was never like that.
Well, it's just to say some drugs amplify the person who you are inside. So when you take them, it will make you adapt or build to a certain place. Other drugs, they just make you shut off or to the person. Do you know what I mean? Because I know I can drink coffee and go to sleep. I can smoke weed and be absolutely motor-mouthed.
There you go.
So there is I think, depending on who the person is who takes it.
That's what I was trying to say at the beginning of this before we got sidetracked, which is you can every stimulant or drug or this, that, and the other has a different effect on different person. Some people can take antibiotics and it cleans them up. Some take antibiotics and they have a low reaction and they're fucked. Mm-hmm. Every drug that you take as a human being has a different effect on you, whether that's alcohol or whether that's ketamine or whether that's MDMA or yada yada yada. You have to forge your own path. I think where it gets self-destructive. This has gone very serious all of a sudden. Where it gets
you're scientists, we expected
where it gets self-destructive is people know which drugs have the worst effects on them and can carry on taking those. So if you are the kind of drunk who can't stop drinking, or if
Yeah.
you are the kind of guy where cocaine makes you that aggressive arsehole, you and me would stop doing that thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But sick people, and this is addiction really, they can't stop, and they continue consuming that drug, that poison, and that makes their life self-destructive, and that's a psychological condition. It's not about enjoying the drug. No, it's like, oh, I just loved cocaine, so I just carried on doing it until I was a fucking mess. That's not how it works. I don't think, in my opinion.
No, you kind of treat it like Alton Towers, right? You only get that golden ticket and go on those rides when it's like, okay, it's this period in my life. I've got this, nothing else going, so I'll pick a time. Hey, and you've done a bump
Yeah.
and you're on your roller coaster ride for that night or for that. I don't know. Have you done it like for a set or before a set?
No, because I need I need a clear head. I need my
Yeah.
faculties about me, and you do stand up. I mean, they always say about I mean, a lot of people who do very high concept art and things like that. They always go. The cliche is, oh man, what were you smoking when you did that?
Yeah.
And the answer is always like, nothing, or I wouldn't have been able to fucking do it. I might have smoked afterwards.
Yeah.
Like they always say, like the classic example is Sgt. Pepper the Beatles, where they say, "Man, you guys must have been so high when you made that album." They're like, "No, we were paying for the studio time. We had to record the records. We might have got high afterwards.
Yeah.
We might have got high enough free time, but you can't go into the studio and expect to record an album on your record company's money off your tits, because you ain't going to make a good record." And we come back to Jamiroquai.
Yeah, absolutely.
The cocaine records.
It's true. It's taken cocaine's taken down more than just Jamiroquai, and who did we mention before? Rick James and Sam Kinison. So many other people. It's one hell of a drug. But if you think about it, there is music that there is one dude who, for all the drugs, is still there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
how many people can you name?
But that's luck.
Luck.
Yeah,
Ozzy Osbourne is still standing. He got his own reality show.
And so is Keith Richards.
Yeah, it's true.
But Frank Zappa, who never touched any drugs in his life, isn't. He's no longer with us. So
I feel like the good ones always go.
it's all luck. Yeah, but that we still have great people with us outside of music. Mel Brooks is in his 90s.
Yeah.
He's still with us, and he's still going strong.
Definitely.
And Mel Brooks smoked every day of his life until he was about 60.
Is Willie Nelson still alive?
Willie Nelson is still alive.
Lovely.
Also a former drug addict.
He still smokes weed. I
would assume so. Woody Allen is still with us. Not yet. I mean, he's only
he got
in
that
his
young.
early 80s.
He got that young pussy, so he just managed to. No, apparently I've heard this now, and this is. I know the way I talk is a bit brash. Sorry, people, if I was being vulgar to your ears, but that's how I was raised. If you're an old person and you,
it's a man who said he was raised by women earlier on.
Yeah, I know. I left the nest pretty early. I didn't mention that. But there is a thing about an older guy with a younger woman, and for some reason it does give something to the older man. Like, not so much the dude who went with Anna Nicole Smith. He was on death's door. But the other... No?
No.
Yeah.
Love is what keeps you going.
Love is what keeps you going.
It doesn't matter who you're in love with.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Love will keep you going. If you're happy,
yes,
you will carry on going.
That was my whole point. Like, there was something in it that made the young girl actually made the old guy actually feel like, comfort, joy, warmth, arousal, all of the emotional spectrum that you would want as a man in your prime, so that you don't feel unfulfilled when you get to his age. But he's getting that at his age, so he's thinking, Jesus Christ, I must have done something right. So for all of those old men who get with a younger woman, especially in Woody Allen's case, because he was working hard like a motherfucker, which is a bit creepy because it was his stepdaughter. But anyway,
not his stepdaughter.
Okay.
The adopted daughter of his girlfriend from a previous marriage. So
wait a minute.
Sun Yi,
yeah,
was the adopted daughter of Mia Farrow and Andre Previn, and then Woody Allen had a long-term relationship with Mia Farrow and 3 children. They weren't married. And then it's still a shitty thing to do. It's still like the shittest thing you can do.
Super creep.
But I know it's super creepy. It's really awful. You know, they have now been married for 27 years or something like that. They've been together ever since. You know, I'm not in the business of defending
He's had
Woody
sex
Allen.
with her. That's what we need to know
I'm not in
from
the
that
business of
27
Woody
years
Allen
of
as
marriage.
a man, but I will always defend Woody Allen as an artist and a comedian because he's my biggest
Papa
hero.
poked his one-time princess. That's what we need to understand.
As an artist, I think Woody Allen's genius.
That was terrible, though.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to do, but we live in an age now, Mel, where I think there are very few of us who could hand and heart say every single person I grew up loving is A-OK. None of us are in that boat.
I didn't want to talk about Cosby, but let's do that. He was in court today.
Was he? Oh,
well,
man.
was it today, yesterday? Because the only case that has seemed to go into trial up until now is the basketball coach, where he was a trustee at a certain university. And no other cases come forward. And he's blind now. He said he's legally blind, so he's not going to give any testimony.
They call that the gut nut, by the way.
The gut nut?
This is a friend of mine on the force described this to me. It's called the gut nut. And what they do is with these older guys, they don't want to face trial. And so they either say, I'm not mentally capable of standing trial, or I'm not physically capable of standing trial. The gut and the nut. I'm sure that Cosby could play darts with the rest of them, but, you know, you pull the old gut and nut so you can spend as little amount of time in court as possible.
Okay.
It's so grim, right?
He had Rudy from The Cosby Show walking in.
Let's not put the rapist, Bill Cosby, in the same category as Woody Allen.
No, but like you said, our old favourites that we grew up with are doing so well, and I love the sarcasm because, I mean, Trump at one time was telling Macaulay Culkin to go down the lobby and to the left to find a reception inside the what was it called, the Plaza Hotel.
Just after Macaulay had appeared in that Michael Jackson video. Yeah,
well, I mean, he insists to this day his booty never got touched, so, you know, we should probably not submit to... Do you not feel like Jacko didn't actually do any fuckery?
No, there's a great book by a guy called Randall Sullivan called Invincible. I think it's Randall Sullivan. And it's a biography of Michael Jackson. It's an absolutely tremendous book. And basically the people who accused Michael Jackson the second time around were complete crooks, and they tried it on with a lot of other people. It wasn't the first time. So, but Mike was clearly fucking nuts.
He had a doctor that was administering him medication for anxiety due to the fact that since he did that Pepsi commercial and got half of his face completely scarred.
Yeah, but he was addicted to surgery. He had to stick his own nose on because he'd done so much surgery. And this comes down to the Hippocratic oath of doctors. We're flying around so many tangents here. Poor old Michael Jackson. So the first concert I ever went to in my life was Criss Cross. The second concert I ever went to in my life was Michael Jackson. And the reason was because Michael Jackson cancelled on his Dangerous Tour his 1992 show at Wembley Arena. So which was supposed to be my first ever concert ever, right? So my parents were like, we're going to take the boy. First ever live show, Michael Jackson. So we get there, we're all going crazy. Old. Yeah, my sister's a lot older than me, right? And my sister, this room that we're in now, for my sister, this was her bedroom, but it was all Michael Jackson. All Michael Jackson.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
We love Michael Jackson. I still love Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
A genius.
The greatest.
The greatest.
He is the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Of music performance
and not just
writing.
Business. What a bad boy on the business table.
Did he not outsell the Beatles? He outsold Elvis as well.
Not did he outsell the Beatles and Elvis, he then bought their shit. Bang! Not only did he
He Vince McMahon.
He was like and this is the really famous story which is always told against Michael Jackson, even though it's totally for Michael Jackson, is when he was working with Paul McCartney on those couple of tracks they did together. McCartney gave him this bit of advice: is if you really want to make money in this business, it's all about publishing rights. You've got to buy the songs that people will be buying forever. And Mike went, all right, okay. And then he turned around to McCartney and said, I thought about what you said, and I'm going to buy your songs because they're up for sale soon. And Paul was like, that's funny, Mike. You're a funny guy. And he's like, no, I'm going to buy your shit. And McCartney didn't have the money.
No, of
And
course not.
And
He was spending it on his ex-wife.
Clubbed him with Yoko Ono. This is before that's still in the Linda days.
Shit. Oh,
This
Linda.
is still in the Linda days.
Meat-free sausages.
They had all that money. They had the meat-free sausage money. They clubbed him with Yoko Ono. Michael Jackson had more money than all of them. When I'm buying your shit, bang, and he bought it. And you know, Michael, I can tell. I could fill this whole podcast with Michael Jackson. You know, I'll give you my two favorite Michael Jackson things. Right? Okay. So one, Michael Jackson didn't speak like this. He didn't speak like that. He didn't speak like that.
He had a deep voice. No, he had a gangster voice.
Yeah, and in real life, he was like, and he was swearing, and he was bang, and as soon as anyone who came up from outside of the circle, then he.
It was a media thing. Yeah,
it was a total media thing
because they knew what his voice was like.
What a bad boy for doing that. What a bad boy. I understood that shit. And the second best thing was when Prince was on the rise. And I love Prince and Rick James. They were the triangle. People always forget in the 80s that was the power triangle of pop music. And Rick James has kind of written out the story a little bit, which is unfair.
I know, very unfair. Cocaine's a hell of a drug again.
The story starts with Rick James on his tour for, I think it was his second album or his third album. Huge, and he had this little skinny little kid, effeminate boy, Prince, support him. How badass is Prince? Prince used to watch Rick James's live shows, sitting there going, okay. And then as the tour progressed, Prince and the Revolution would go on stage before Rick James and steal everything Rick James and his band did on stage. Stole the whole act. And so Rick James would come out on stage and seeing this fucking little kid has stolen his act and go, what do we do now? And he was so furious. He never forgave Prince for it. And at the end of that tour, Rick James and the Free City Band wailed him. They went in there and they beat up Prince Revolution and stole their gear. So Prince had this exclusive synthesizer that he was touring with. And you know... Rick James' is biggest hit is
Give It To Me, Baby. Super Freak.
Super Freak.
Yeah.
And the sound of that organ there, and there's a squealing synthesizer sound in the background. That's a synthesizer made specifically for Prince and the Revolution. Those guys beat them up and stole that synthesizer and released a hit record with it because they've been stealing Rick James' shit on the road.
Oh shit! So right? Super Freak.
Super Freak.
Was with Prince's fucking suit.
With Prince's gear.
Oh shit!
Right? So that shit went down, right? But then Prince, I think, because Rick got into the coke and got overtaken, Michael Jackson then all of a sudden was like, "I'm the daddy now. I'm the big boy. I'm doing this." And he was like, "When Bad Pal, I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill Prince." And so Prince was booked to play at Madison Square Garden, the first one out of the three of them to do it. Bang! I've won. So what did Michael Jackson do? He bought all the tickets for the front two rows of Madison Square Garden because he knows as a performer, when you've got the lights on, the only audience you can see is the front two rows. And so when Prince came out to do his Madison Square Garden show for the first time, all he could see was two rows of empty seats, and Michael Jackson sat in the middle of it, looking up at him with his dull face.
Oh, yeah.
That Michael Jackson's a bad boy.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was a bad boy.
Could you imagine him doing that as a stand-up, just
and
sitting in the
was
front
like,
row?
Yeah, I know. And everyone's like, I was like, why don't you get Prince to... After Quincy Jones left because he was too mad, they were like, why don't you get Prince to do next album? And like, both of them were like, fuck that guy. In private, they're like, fuck that guy. That's not how... There's only at that time, there's only room for one black guy. And it started off with Rick James, and then it went to Prince, and then it went to Michael Jackson.
So that's why probably
Brutal.
The Bad album was supposed to feature Prince on it, but Michael was like, fuck that. Or because the story is like Prince says, nah, it's okay, do your thing, homie. Michael's like, oh, okay, you sure you don't want to be on the album? Are you sure? That's like the official media story.
It's so sad that we lost them both because it would have been wonderful to listen to. Well, all three of them are gone.
Yeah.
It would have been wonderful to listen to all three of those guys in old age tell the real stories of what was going on. If you ever
Here's the thing, on alternate reality,
Yeah.
because you're a scientist, do you believe in a multiverse? Do you believe there's a different version of this Earth?
Oh, I don't care.
No, you don't care? Okay. Could you imagine if Prince isn't dead, if Hendrix isn't dead, if Tupac isn't dead, if James Brown didn't fucking beat his wife and get fucking coked out? if half of these things that took down our greatest artists didn't happen, or if there really is a heaven and they're all chilling up there right now, what do you think they could conspire in terms of composing a complete piece of musical
But if they
eargasm?
weren't the cokeheads and troubled human beings, then they wouldn't have produced the same art they did. And we're going back to what we were talking about earlier.
You need a little bit of
It informs it. If you know, Rick James was off his nut when he was releasing some brilliant records like Cold Blooded, and all that, all those latter Rick James like singles that kind of were amazing. He wouldn't have done that if he wasn't off his nut. Now we both know, we now know that both Prince and Michael Jackson were both hopeless junkies themselves, and yeah, that's just how it is. Would they have carried on releasing those brilliant records if they weren't hopeless junkies? Who knows?
Do you believe then that maybe other than the music and the sheer talent that these kids had, I mean, they started out very young for at least Michael and a few others. Do you think, like, at some point, because you said Quincy Jones was crazy, why would you say that?
No, Quincy Jones thought that Michael Jackson was crazy.
It's crazy, okay.
He refused to work on Dangerous. He said, I'm not going through that again.
Okay.
After 3 records, he said, I can't do that again.
Because there is an idea that obviously Michael Jackson may have been fucked with. There's an idea that, I mean, I don't think Rick James would have definitely got into drugs.
Rick James was an international drug dealer before he became a musician. But that's not
Kin
quite
to
true.
many rappers right now.
All right,
well.
so Rick James was drafted into the armed services for Vietnam. He did about 2 weeks and said fuck this and walked out and went AWOL and went to Canada, where he started a band called the Minor Birds with Neil Young. This is crazy. Neil Young of After the Gold Rush and Harvest fame was in a band called the Minor Birds with Rick James. They were signed to Motown. You know how Berry Gordy used to do business at Motown, right? He was a real bad boy. So the business was getting really hot. So the manager of the Minor Birds was like, I want my cut, I want my money. And they're like, who the fuck are you? We're signed to Motown now. We got Berry Gordy. You can get fucked. Halfway through the recording sessions, they got 2 tracks down. And this manager of the Minor Birds, which was this band, got so furious that he ratted Rick James out. So this is a guy who went AWOL from the military. This is
shit.
The MPs came and arrested him.
They took him.
And Rick James had to go into military prison. He went to military prison. And that's why that fell apart. And Neil Young went back up to Canada and became Neil Young.
Yeah.
But then when Rick James came out, he didn't know what to do with himself. Obviously, it was, talent up the yin yang. But he ran drugs from South America. He went drugs from Colombia back into the United States. All in his brilliant book, Confessions of a Super Freak, which he wrote when he was in prison in the 90s.
I'm fucking getting that book now, mate. I'm going on my Google right now.
It's tremendous. But yeah, no, I mean, Rick James was really the bad boy out of the 3 of them. The other 2 are musicians, and yeah, I mean, Mike's
talent was horrendous, but his talent is beyond. And sad to say, because it's what gave him that curse of the drugs, maybe. But pressure makes diamonds, and that is one incredible diamond of a human being. In terms of, he spawned alone Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber, all the other Justins, just people who, Chris Brown, people who want to sing and dance. Like, he inspired a bunch of folks who are still doing music to this day in the prowess of, can you perform and capture an essence where no matter where you go on the planet, you got kids screaming your name. I would
say more than that, Mel. I would say that at the time of Thriller and things like that, he was turning around to a heavily racist television media and saying, you can't fucking ignore me. I am not going to allow you to ignore the black community and what we're doing. And he forced that shit through. I mean, honestly, Michael Jackson is beyond music. He was such a bad boy. But unfortunately, because he was so crazy, he was so mad, you
don't pay attention to the good stuff.
Exactly, and it's such a shame. And as a businessman, a musician, a songwriter, as you say, a dancer, and all that talent,
humanitarian,
it kind of gets wiped out because people say, well, he was a weirdo, junkie paedophile. And some of those things are true, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't. It doesn't mean that Off the Wall isn't one of the greatest records ever. It doesn't mean that Thriller is still.
Do you think he fucked with kids though?
No.
Okay, see, that's the thing. It's the demonization. It's the tarnishing of his name.
But we don't know. Yeah. We don't know. We don't know.
That's what kills me. And it's, I don't know, for every child that's growing up today now, they've got the internet, and unfortunately, you got to do a deep Google search, deep Google, to find out the real Michael Jackson. Unless you go to the wrong documentary, and then you've got your picture skewed.
You'd think more people would have come forward. You look at the Rolf Harrises, the Bill Cosby,
Absolutely.
all these other people who've been exposed.
Gary Glitter.
Once the first one comes out, all of a sudden you get this rush of people going, hey, do you know what? Thank God you said something, because Me Too, by the way.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson surrounded himself with children for 20 years.
Yeah.
And we've had one family who've already been well proven to have been fraudsters and nasty fuckers.
Yep.
And everyone always said, why did Michael Jackson settle that court case?
Because you knew they were desperate, and he's like, I've got loads of money.
He didn't have the money to fight the court case.
Oh, he didn't.
To that. He just didn't have the money to fight the court case. And so it's like, you know what?
But it was a media circus. It wasn't even a real court, was it? It was the TMZ court.
Exactly.
Fuck the court of TMZ.
So he settled as a terrible, terrible bit of advice. And I say there's a great book about it, but he settled, and it was a terrible decision. And as soon as he settled, everyone was, well, you only settle for one reason, and that's because you're guilty. Now, if it had turned out that, you know, we had, after he died, you had a cavalcade of other people, and this may still happen, we don't know, but if you had all these other kids coming out and say, hey, you know what, Me Too, and fucking he was a monster, like what happened with Cosby, like what happened with Savile, and all the others, you know.
The real fucking rapist, yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't believe it. That's not to say definitively whether it's one thing or another. Right? You know, that's just my viewpoint. But then I'm a fan, so maybe I would say that.
If you catch the next episode of me and Don Biswas, there will be a bit of conspiracy.
Don on.
I love Don. Yeah,
Don's great.
I've had him on before, but we didn't have enough time to go into the conspiracies. I was going to go into like the Illuminati taking over music and movie industry and making occult symbolism and all that kind of shit. See what he has to shed on that, and then obviously
Mike certainly believed that. Mike didn't want to be a singer dancer. He wanted to be a movie star. He wanted to move into acting. He didn't understand when movie executives say, "Yeah, Mike, we love to have you star in this movie, but you look fucking insane. So no one's going to want to." He just didn't understand that.
Yeah,
he was like, "But I look beautiful," and that was his addiction.
Yeah,
it was not only a drug addiction, but that surgery addiction that really killed his career.
Yeah,
such a shame.
I think at the end he tried to conform to be liked after a while of fighting that. At first, like you said, from Thriller to Dangerous, he was just, well, Dangerous still was a transition, but he was this really bold person that was like, I have to go forward and carry this flag, and I have to let people know if they kill me, like he didn't care if they took him down. He's like, if they kill me, I'm gonna have a message of love in all my songs. And in many ways, he's probably a most richest ghost, like more richer than Tupac. I mean, Tupac is a rich ghost. No, he died
penniless, Mel.
Who, Tupac?
No, Michael Jackson.
Oh well, that's because they fucking raped his estate, right?
No,
that's
it's because he spent all his money.
You telling me he died penniless?
Yeah, check it out. He died.
Oh shit!
He died near penniless. He had another. Sorry, I'm a huge.
So this tour was supposed to be like for him to get money.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! And that's why the Illuminati named it "This Is It."
I don't know why the Illuminati named anything. Yeah, no, he was flat broke, and he had an addiction to high end shopping. He would go around, you know, Harrods and Selfers and the antiques and going, I'll have that and that without being able to pay for it. And he was totally broke. Why do you think, like, I mean,
they sold Neverland?
Not just sold Neverland. You remember in his final days, so it's a new Michael Jackson's greatest hits coming out every week. There's no new fucking music.
Well, it's because the tour was coming up. It's because it was 40 years of.
Yeah, but before that, he had all these great hits. He was flat broke, and it's a rotten thing. I'd say it's called Invincible. I think the guy's name is Randall. I can't remember his first name, and it's Randall Sullivan, I think.
I'll just have Invincible.
It's a really, really, really good book, really interesting, and Moonwalker. You know, read that book, his autobiography, which he touched on a lot of this. He had a huge spending addiction. He had a massive money problems.
Well, you're one of 5 comedians, I think, or 5 personalities that's been on this show who just echoed the love for Michael Jackson, and it's one of those cautionary tales, one of those sad tales that your endeavor in entertainment or your endeavor in trying to, because you become a public figure, and that is a huge weight on your shoulders, whether you chased after it your entire youth and young adulthood until you got it as a man, or whatever stage you get it as. Like, look at Bieber, we spoke about him earlier on. It is a huge thing now when you're just completely public, where even when you want an off day, you know what I mean, you can't, because you're seen leaving your house not looking, you know what I'm saying, like you would going to the club. So there is that kind of pressure. Then there's also the upfrontness of letting people know who you are, so that they can't mold you into a figure, so that you have to continue to keep that pretense up. And when you're a singer, when you're a performer, when you're an actor, model, it's so much harder, because you're just built upon your face. You know what I'm saying? Once you're facially gifted, you're in. Once you're 6 foot whatever, you're in. You know, once you've got pecs, you're in. And it's like, you got to keep that up, because that's what's hired you. But when you go into other stuff like comedy, or I don't know, music, and the guys who write real shit and are still around, sometimes people would just accept the fact that they smoke weed or they do a few things. They accept the demons, knowing that what they're trying to do, their endeavor, is really awesome.
Yeah, underwear model, I think it's the hardest job in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Got to keep shaving?
No, because the job is strip down to your underwear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take photographs of you. No, sorry. Strip down to your underwear. I'm going to have this strange man take photographs of you. We are going to then, in your underwear, we're going to blow those up to the biggest possible size that we can, and then we're going to show them to literally as many people as we can of you in your underwear. And we'll give you about 120 quid for that.
Oh no, it's not that cheap.
Fuck that noise, man.
No, it's
Fuck
not that cheap. They've got to be
but
getting paid more.
And we're all human beings, right? So even if you're the underwear model, you're going, oh, well, I feel really bad because I've got this mole here and I've got this little bit of... And they're like, don't worry about that. All those little insecurities you have about your body, don't worry about those. We can remove them with a computer.
Yeah.
So, fuck being an underwear model. I can't imagine anything worse than that. No, it's not easy.
Not easy.
Hey, Steve! Hey, man, I saw you with your tits out and you're way. You fucking loser! What are you doing?
Maybe because I feel like I couldn't do an underwear shoot without feeling embarrassed as well.
Yeah,
but I could do an
exactly
underwear
that.
shoot. I wouldn't do it for a living. No, that's crazy. Like,
Could you, Mel? Could
I
you
like to-
strip down to your
No,
underwear? Could you take your Batman ties off now? I'll take a photo of you.
It's SpongeBob
And
this week.
We'll put them out on the internet.
No.
And show,
I couldn't.
exactly.
I
It's
couldn't do
not actually a very nice thing to
it.
do.
There are
is
some
it?
maybe salacious photos of me out there, but people are never going to find it because I don't use my government name all the time. But no, it's like, here's the thing. In an age of the cloud now, a lot of people have got some shit like that's out there. So, you know,
I don't use the cloud.
people should be more concerned about what they do with their bodies.
No
You've got
one
a few-
wants to take a naked picture of me. I'm in a very unique position.
No, apparently the only media view is in POV, and it's just cock down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they still can't see anything.
No,
so
because you're
it's
constantly
absolutely
inserted.
okay.
I like it.
That's awesome.
So, listen, I need to take a pee, which is very
Okay.
rare on this show. And also, we've come up to, it's fucking completely rare. We've come up to the hour and 54-minute mark, okay? So, can you, like, just vaguely remember any of your dates? Like, so while I go and pee, you can just tell people, or your Twitter, your Instagram, or how people can find you. I'll be, like, literally a second, and I'll come back. And if you've really been too long, like I'm shaking it more than 3 times and enjoying myself, just start talking about Spurs.
All right,
Okay.
I will do. Okay.
Be back in a bit, guys.
All right. Mel has gone. What you don't understand here, audience, is that Mel's toilet is in the corner of the room, and he's getting it all out now. And well, it's not as big as you think it would be. Actually, it's quite surprising. He's telling me not to mention the fact that oh my, hang on a minute, there's 2 of them. This is quite extraordinary. I've never seen anything like this. Oh, he's very embarrassed. Okay, dates of mine. I don't remember any of them. I'm around about all the time. Please, I'm Facebook Tommy.Ettling. Send me a friend request. I will accept it. No questions asked. And you can come and see me actually tell some jokes, which is something I haven't done tonight at all. I've been sat here. I thought this was going to be a way for me to hilarious tell you some of my genius material. It hasn't quite happened that way, but do come see me perform. I say on the Facebook. I'm also on Twitter. You can follow me on Tommy Ettling on there as well. And, I'm putting out various jokes, and that's good. He's now wrapping it back round his leg. He's tucking the second one into his sock. Ow, and he's back. There we go. All right.
Oh,
Two
gosh.
penises. I mean, I've never seen anything
It was
like
the balls,
it.
dude. You got confused.
No wonder you were so for the cosmetic surgery. You want to get the second one removed.
I want a reduction.
The
yeah.
second one is a lot smaller. It's very strange.
I just want to give a gift to a
The
midget
only-
so
the
that he
only
can be the
thi-
god amongst his people.
The only thing I couldn't make out was the name he had tattooed down the side of it. But we'll leave that for another podcast for another day. So let me. You've got Don on next, and I love Don.
I don't think he's next.
Okay, well you got Don on. I think he's.
Unfortunately, Don has agreed to do the show, but he's got dyspraxia. So
Why is that? That's not unfortunate. Good for
no,
him.
well, because the date moves because it's
Alright.
from when he's ready to do it, but he's got to tell me when. And
Right.
unfortunately, by the time he sees the message that I sent him, which was like quite recent,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a while. Like I've known a few people with dyspraxia. They just message me randomly. I'm like, what's going on? Oh shit, that's the response to that time when I messaged him. So I tried to set up early with him.
I like Don a lot. I think it's really interesting. I love conspiracy nuts. Now I feel the same way about conspiracies. We're going back up an hour here, or two. But I feel the same way about conspiracies I feel about ghosts.
Okay.
I love them. I love conspiracy theories. I love them. I don't believe in them though.
Yeah.
They're just fun, weird stories.
Yeah.
And there's always these little facts within the stories where you go, oh, actually, that's a bit weird, isn't it? That is funny. So I'm hugely excited to hear a lot of Don's conspiracy theories.
His last one, essentially, and is an awesome. Thank you, Don, in spirit. Is an awesome segue into the election, into the powers that be, so to speak.
Yeah.
And where we're going in this country. And we brought up a lot of old stuff like Norman Cook, weapons of mass destruction. We went over 9/11. It was fun. But
He's not a 9/11 denier, is he?
well, no, he's not a denier. He just thinks that there are some very, very weird circumstances, like Hans Blix, the weapons scientist who said there was no weapons of mass destruction and then seamlessly died on his way home. Robin Cook, who was like hiking in Scotland and died. A bunch of just weird stuff that was going on. Was it? If it's not Robin Cook, sorry, the Cook report was about something else. Just you got to look over the episode. There's so many things to cover. I was like, dude, I just got to bring you back on and just have you with your pad. But
If it isn't the truth about 9/11, and the 9/11 one really, I like conspiracy theories. I prefer ones like the moon landing. I think the ones where genuinely a lot of people died is really they're sad.
That's
and
the saddest one, yeah.
And I think you kind of, no offense to Don or any people who like to believe these stories, I think you're kind of insulting the memory of the people who died. And isn't the reality of 9/11 sadder than the conspiracy in that you had a president, much like where we are now, you had a president whose ego was bigger than their understanding of the responsibility they had. So when Bush W got in the White House and the CIA briefed him, he said, we have this entire unit set up investigating this plot coming out of Saudi Arabia about people wanting to fly planes into New York. And George Bush said, well, shut that unit down because no one would ever have the balls to do that. So he shut down the investigation of the people who were looking into that attack happening, which is very prescient because where we are, and we're talking about. Anyway, I don't want to get too political, but that to me, as a conspiracy, is way sadder, and that's a fact. That's just on record that he shut that investigation within the CIA down. That to me is sadder than what the conspiracy nuts come up with. The reality to me is worse, which. You had these people who knew this was coming. You knew it was going to happen. You know you have to act. And he went, "How? No one would dream of doing something like that. So don't even bother."
and this is what gives fuel to some of those conspiracy tin hat wearing nuts. Where and that's how they're labelled. I'm not calling you guys nuts, but
Don Bizzles' new show, I think, is actually cool. He's wearing a tinfoil hat in the poster.
Yep.
And good for him. It's hilarious.
It's the fact that they have made a correlation between that and another piece of evidence which was documented, that war games, which was a training exercise done by NORAD and the Air Force, where NORAD would, the North American Authority for Space, Air, and stuff like that, they stood down and they allowed the training games to happen, like training simulators and stuff like that. So the Pentagon wasn't at war readiness or anything like that. So all these little circumstances, also known as coincidences, and if you're really a scientist, you never believe in a coincidence. It has to be replicated twice for you to realize that there are certain things at hand that could have made that exact day happen again.
Wasn't it replicated twice? Wasn't it replicated 3 times on the same day? 4 almost. Flight 93 that came down.
Well, that's the other thing. This is where the conspiracy guys kind of get debunked. Where would you say, where are these passengers? If it was drones that were flown into that's what they said, they flew drones into them. Where are all these passengers? The one thing that sticks out, though, this is the worst, is the fact that the passport survived, but the black box is different. Now, you don't understand. You need a meteorite to come into a contact with a plane for there to be no black box. A black box is so hard to eviscerate, for you to just wipe clean so that there's no knowledge on there.
I appreciate that, and I think the reality is that there probably is a black box, but they're not telling us about it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Some things we don't need to know.
I don't need to know about that shit. It's fine. I think the ones where genuinely thousands of people lost their lives, and I think you touched on it there. Like people died, real people died. So don't make fun stories about that, because there are actually people who lost their lives, and that's really sad. If you want to talk about the moon landing being a fake,
that's fine.
I'm on that all day because I think that's hilarious.
No one died.
Exactly. No one, apart from the monkeys who got shot into space. No, come on.
And dogs. Yeah.
And worms.
They shot worms into space.
Worms and bees and ants.
Bees?
Yeah.
The fuck shot bees into space?
To see how they would react. And could the colony survive?
That's how we got the Wu-Tang Killer bees coming back to England.
Wu-Tang.
Jesus.
I
nothing to fuck with.
Pulled a girl in a bowling alley in Bloomsbury Bowls, if you know.
Oh, Bloomsbury, of course I do. Of course I do.
I once pulled a girl by going up to her face and just going, Wu-Tang! And walking away, and she comes to me later and it's like, I can't talk because my boyfriend's here, but here is my number. And I swear to you that is a true story. That is, Dave Chappelle, great moments in hookup history.
Yep.
I will never. Obviously, I'm getting married, so I will never top that. But that is my ultimate. And I have witnesses.
Yes.
Who will swear that is absolutely true. I just went up to this girl. I thought she was a very attractive girl. I just went Wu-Tang in her face. Mm-hmm. I'm doing the bat symbol for people who are just listening. Mm-hmm. And I got her number.
That is your sonic boom. That is your Hadouken. You got your own special move, bro. And it worked.
I only worked once, and I only ever saw that girl once again. Which was in Kentish Town Police Station.
Oh, shit.
I have no idea what she was doing there. I was there to report my wallet got stolen at Notting Hill Carnival, which happens. And I was waiting in the waiting room, and I saw her, and she saw me, and we both did that whole...
Yeah.
Hi.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't think either of us were ever really into it, but that was a great way to get a girl's number.
You know how to pick them.
Oh, hey.
I like that Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
I've got to come up with one myself. So, let's talk about Tottenham. just to give us some joy. You've been a Spurs fan your entire life.
My entire life, yeah.
Right.
My whole life.
So you've seen the ups and downs. What would you say would make our next season, and what would break our next season?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, because we will. We're going to struggle. We're going to struggle at Wembley next season. It's going to be a really hard season for us, and I think that Carl Walker's going to go, and you break up. There's a little bit of magic that's happening at Tottenham Hotspur right now, which is being broken up, and it's part playing staff, it's part stadium, it's just that time. It was just like the last 2 years were Tottenham's time, right? Mm. Last year, and I spoke to a Chelsea fan about this today, in fact. If Chelsea had European football this year, we would have won the league. I genuinely believe that. They would have
been too stretched.
I would have genuinely believed that, right? The year before, we just weren't quite there.
If we were switched on, we would have won the league.
Yeah, we
year
just
before.
didn't quite have it, and we kind of bottled it because we were too young. The manager was too experienced, and it just didn't quite happen. This year, everyone was playing Wembley for what happened to us in Europe, and I think it's actually the inexperience of the manager. Don't forget how young Mauricio Pochettino is.
Yeah.
He hasn't really had a lot of experience
In the Champions League, yeah.
In the Champions League, so he got Wembley, and Wembley. I'm falling the same track. He got Europe all wrong. You look at his team selections for every single one of those home games that we played at Wembley, and they were wrong. They were not the teams that were going out and smashing it in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it's a learning curve, and we'll be better next season.
Depth issue as well.
Yeah, absolutely will. Yeah, but that we don't have the money of these other clubs, and I think all these people are taking the piss out of Tottenham with the means and stuff, and I'm fine with that. By the way, that's what football is. We all take the piss out of each other. I don't mind that. But we don't have anything like the spending power. We've got about the spending power of Southampton.
Yeah.
So
that's
we're
fair.
below Everton, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. We're a long way down that league of spending power.
Even Newcastle. Newcastle seem to be able to pick up a lot of players.
Exactly, and we don't have the money to buy players. We don't have the money to pay players the high wages, and then we have Dan Levy, who is like Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Sometimes you just go, you're a genius, and sometimes you just go, Musa Sissoko? What the fuck?
I know.
Sadio Mane, man! It's everyone can see it!
He went to Liverpool quick. We had no chance to capture that trigger, okay? Number one, and it's 35 million. He was never going to pay it. He was going to stagger out the payments. Number two, your second best bet is you really do need a player who could probably help your Champions League.
Gabbiadini, who went to Southampton, why don't we buy him?
He's a striker, I know. We already bought Janssen.
Why don't we buy him?
We already bought Janssen.
And there's a couple of Levy ones like that.
He looks like stats like Soldado.
We
How many
had,
goals did you score in your last league? We'll take you.
I know. But we had Willian at Chelsea, who I think is a wonderful player.
Mm-hmm.
He passed the medical at Tottenham, and the deal didn't go through. How do you? I mean, I run a business. How do you fuck that deal up?
That's why Paul Mitchell's left.
Eden Hazard tweeted, "I'm signing for Tottenham Hotspur," and we fucked that deal up. And I think Eden Hazard is probably in the top 5 best players in the world right now.
If we got Eden Hazard, and that was during the Redknapp era, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have got Eriksen.
Well, I would make that.
I know. How much? I don't even know how much Eden Hazard cost Chelsea, but it was probably worth the same. Eriksen only cost us 12 million. I'm just saying, in terms of...
Eriksen's a great player.
Yeah.
Eriksen's a terrific player, and our squad is terrific, and we were not far off actually winning the league this year.
We need one or two more players, that's all I'm saying. We just need one or two more. A winger that is terrible. Like, Mohamed Salah's going, apparently, to Liverpool. We need a player of his ilk. We just need a player who literally is... He's outgrown his league, and he is super, super terrifying to any defender who he comes into contact with. Let's just grab him. It hasn't really worked for Spurs right now. We've only got Son.
But we need... hey, Sonny got more than 20 goals.
Son is amazing.
Incredible.
We need somebody to be on the other channel.
He's the guy who's on the bench. But the thing is, we can't pay the wages that will get a great player to come to Tottenham Hotspur and sit on the bench and come, if and maybe, but if this player gets injured, well, we have to live with that. I'm happy doing that. I'd rather that until it happens. I'd rather that than the big money takeover from the oligarchs. My missus works for Man City. She works, and I know what it's like, therefore, to work in a club that's run by the Qatari royal family. Yeah. And what that means for your brand and your image and who you are as a football club. And you look at Arsenal fans and the way they feel about Kroenke and the way that, Arsenal fans, by the way, they have one bad season, and you'd think that the apocalypse was happening.
Because we finished above them.
Yeah, but...
Way above
everyone
them.
has one bad season.
I
Man
know.
United, Chelsea, everyone has bad seasons. They have one bad season.
They're the Ronda Rouseys of the Premier League.
And they want to sack one of the greatest Premier League managers of all time. Oh, fuck.
Well, it's because they're delusional in their position in the first place. That's why when they don't achieve what they used to
They
achieve,
are.
they fell back on their laurels of just getting an FA Cup
They
and
are.
staying in the top 4.
So you'll appreciate this, Mel. The last home game of the season, I was part of the pitch invasion,
Oh, nice.
and I scooped up my piece of White Hart Lane. I got turf,
Oh, nice.
and it is living and well. So White Hart Lane does live on in N4. It's still growing and growing well.
From N17 to
Yeah.
N4, and it's
And
going well.
I've got my season ticket for Wembley next season. I'm dreading it because it turns the 3-hour afternoon into the whole day. But we just have to suck it up and hope for better things to come, which I don't think they will. But
I mean, there's like shopping in Wembley nearby, and you can go shopping quickly, and then
if you can't get a decent pint. Yeah. I'm a shareholder in the Antwerp Arms, which is a little pub on Bruce Castle Park, if you know that part of the world.
yeah, of course, cool.
And it's less than £4 a pint up there. You have a decent drink. They let some away fans in there, the ones who know about it. You talk to them. You go to the game. You go to White Hart Lane. I mean, Tottenham is going to change. The club is now moved on to being something that it wasn't. And I was one of the only Tottenham fans who was bitterly against a new stadium. I thought,
It's on the same ground though. It's still there. It's like they're just expanding.
But it's not. And the club will tell you, yeah, but White Hart Lane is not the White Hart Lane in the 60s or the 30s. Every.
Do you remember when the East Stand was built? Because I was in school when the East Stand was built. I saw the cranes and everything. So for me, it was like I was watching them just taking and it was the most derelict part of the building. It was like, we have to change this shit up, man. The building looks like it's pissing on itself.
Well, the building was falling down. That's why we have to build a new set. I'm a realist. I understand that. But so again, I bring it back to my wife to be Emery. Her father was the chairman of Leicester City, and he moved them from Filbert Street into the King Power. He built that stadium as it was a Walker Stadium at the time, and it had to happen. Filbert Street had to go because it was falling down.
Yeah.
But how long did it take Leicester to recover?
Oh shit, no time at all. 4 seasons, but they made it straight from the 4th tier back up to the Premier League, and then they won the title.
Yeah, but you had to go back down to the 4th tier. So they went down in 2003, 4, something like that.
Yeah.
That season. So
and then they won the championship for a bit.
More than 10 years. 8, they won the Premier League. We haven't won the fucking Premier League, so fair play to them.
Fuck me, we're a better team than them. No, that's what hurts.
They hate us though, Mel.
Oh God, yeah.
So I spent a lot of time, obviously, with Leicester and Leicester fans, and they hate Tottenham Hotspur. So, sincerely, Leicester, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I really mean that.
Yeah.
If you go hate on Tottenham Hotspur, and they were wishing that Chelsea beat us towards the end of the season. They thought that this was hilarious.
They called Chelsea. They text them. They're like, "Come on, fam, let's rub it in their fucking noses."
Chelsea? Are you kidding me? Like, I know Chelsea are a bit more cuddly and lovely this year than they have been in previous times. But don't forget, Conte is wearing a wig. I mean, it all comes back to the piece. The man is wearing a wig. At least Pochettino's hair is his own shit.
He's young.
It's his own hair. So, no, man, I mean, I see you got the White Hart Lane up there. I've been there. I love it. I live and breathe Tottenham Hotspur. And it is... I mean, if you're a football fan, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And I used to love putting planks of wood and bins right outside our house because we didn't want people to park there. We allowed certain Tottenham fans who had like a people carrier Volvo with their family, be like, yeah, you get to park here, parkies. And it was the bants, it was the walking down to your normal sweet shop just to get your normal Panini sticker book and hearing the roar. And then when you got much older and you actually started to realise there were players and they had their endeavour, and it wasn't just cars, it wasn't just match of the day, it was like following them. I'm really happy to be a Spurs fan right now because every single fucking boss I've had for the last 15 or 20 years has been an Arsenal fan. Suck it. Anyway, I think because like I don't know what you need to make your way home, don't you? It's like
it's midnight.
Yeah, almost. It's almost. So let's midnight our podcast.
I just like to say, Mel, I think I've had a terrific time talking to you tonight. I know I haven't answered a single question that you've asked me.
I haven't asked you a question.
Oh no, but I've really enjoyed it. It's been I'm an opinionated arsehole.
Hmm.
So for me, this has just been an absolute treat.
This just shined through how easy it takes to pod it in peas from 1984 to just get to popping, and it's been a great podcast. I thank you very much for doing this, and please come down whenever you're free. Next time I'll have you on whenever. What would you like to end this episode with?
Oh, I can have any song I like to end this.
Yeah.
This thing.
Yeah.
Can I type it in because it's going to be very very specific.
Oh, go ahead.
All right.
That helps me out. All of that admin just out of the way, and
I'm gonna actually end with a Frank Zappa song.
Oh, wonderful.
And.
Get some praise.
You Phil, why don't you trail the next?
I'll fill this in. So as usual, with this being episode 64, I don't know if you played a Commodore. Mine was more Nintendo, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye. Anyway, I digress. Episode 64 is out of the way, and the wonderful Tommy Ettling's going to play us out with some music. And if you want to see Tommy Ettling perform his wonderful comedy, you can go down to the bottom where I'm going to put Tommy's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that stuff.
Tell me your ghost stories. Send me ghost stories.
Ghost stories.
I love the ghost stories. I'm ready.
And comments, about TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, we love it.
And just send your love to this guy, man. He's awesome, and all of us, I would say, congratulations on your engagement. And we can't wait for the wedding pictures. Hopefully not in OK Magazine, because it'd be better if you release it on the Instagram.
It's gonna be hilarious.
And are you gonna have a comedian at your wedding?
No. Because I'm getting married. We've got a magician. We've got live animals. We've got we got loads and loads and loads of great stuff. I wish I could tell you which band we've got playing, but I can't.
Sorry, keep it on the wraps.
I'll tell you when the mics are off. But
okay.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. And if you want someone outside the comedy world, interview Anne-Marie, because I'm not just saying this because she's my wife. She's so interesting. She works for football. Fascinating career, starting off in comic relief and that kind of stuff, and her family history. She'd be a great guest for us, and she's hilarious.
I tell you what, after your wonderful wedding and honeymoon and consummation and
3 weeks in Hawaii, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wonderful!
3 weeks
there we
Hawaii.
go. Aloha. After you have your wonderful fun, post-coital marriage, whatever you call it, newly wedded shit stuff. Just come back on the show and see if Anne-Marie will be partial to a podcast, because then it'll be fun to have a power couple on. If not, we'll just send her in some questions and answers in a postcard, please. Without further ado, the wonderful Tommy Ettling is going to play out. And any last words for these wonderful Midnighters out here?
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you.
Okay. So we've got a little bit of Frankie Zappa, and we're going to play out now. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching another episode. I'll be back very, very soon. Go out there, vote. Labour, Conservative, Green Party, doesn't matter. Just make your voice heard. I can't believe I said that because I'm not voting. But anyway, do what you have to do. And stay black. It's not a bad thing. Anyway, have fun, people.